Represents being real. Yeah.
Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Locked down.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Get robbed.
Only on
The Fan Upstate.
Good morning.
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 Yeah.
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 Yeah. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Radio program is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do? And happy Tuesday to you, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. What up, world? How's everybody? How y'all doing? Everybody good? Is everybody just having the time of their metaphorical lives? I hope. Actually, no, your literal lives. I hope you're having the time of your literal lives, people. What a day. What a day we have. Because, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, and we're going to get to it in just mere moments from now, but we potentially have, Lonzo, we potentially have perhaps the funniest thing that has ever happened in college football about to happen. It's not there yet. We're still learning. There's still details floating out there in the universe, but the Associated Press reported yesterday that they have potentially evidence that would show sign stealing in the Big Ten by somebody else before Michigan done the same way as Michigan, which would mean potentially there is the chance that another Big Ten school that has been griping about Michigan's sign stealing may have been sign stealing. And I'm going to tell you, Zoe, and we're going to get into this in just a little while, that while it will be a traumatic experience for the great one, I cannot tell you how deeply in my loins I hope that it's Ohio State. I beg the universe to make it either Ohio State, Michigan State, or Purdue. Please make it one of those three schools if it's true.
All right, I don't understand why you're coming at me like that, because I thought, me and you, the team and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? If they're cheating, they should be in trouble for it. I don't care if it's my school, your school, their school, our school. If you cheat, you should get in trouble for it.
Well, it's not my school because the University of West Florida Argonauts, we are above reproach.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
We are above
One thing I've never heard of is the Argonauts being in any kind of trouble at all.
Never once, and he never will. Because we, the mighty Argonauts, hold ourselves to a higher standard than anyone else in America. We are above reproach, the University of West Florida Argonauts. We are untouchable. We are perfection in football. No one else is. Jokes aside, the comedy, if after last week, the other team turned out to be Purdue, would be like Leslie Nielsen couldn't come up with that script for a movie. Mel Brooks couldn't come up with that script for a movie.
Are there any hardball proteges that are on any other schools? I'm just curious, because we know Belichick's tree has been in trouble for doing Belichickian things. So maybe there are hardball people out there throughout the Big Ten. I don't know.
I don't know. But see, here's the thing. The fun part is the Associated Press's story is that the school in question that did this before Michigan, Lonzo, do you know who they did it to, allegedly? Michigan. The story that the AP has out there in CSI Ann Arbor There it is. That's on me. I set you up without letting you know. I didn't throw you the telepathic.
Oh no.
heads up.
I should. My hand's a little shaky, or I would have got to it.
The CSI Ann Arbor story. Now it turns out that perhaps the criminals in question may have been victims themselves. That is such a good drop. That is such a good drop.
Had to leave the last couple of notes.
Yeah,
on it,
no,
'cause
for
I think
sure.
You take those away. It just
It's
doesn't.
just, yeah, I agree. So we're going to get to that in a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and warn you well in advance, dear listeners and friends, that I fully intend to laugh at that. I got to tell you, I've been battling since yesterday about 2:30 in the afternoon. I have been battling a headache oncoming, which I assume is sinus headache. I don't know that for sure yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is based on the fact that it has been around for about 14 hours now. And I don't know if it's the weather pinging back and forth.
I think I know what it is.
Now and then it was cold, and now it's going to be hot again. I don't know if it's dealing with certain people I have to deal with on a regular basis. I don't know what's causing it. I've been dealing with a headache since about 14 hours ago, but the one thing that is sustaining me, the one thing that is getting me through it, is the knowledge that for at least a segment and a half, maybe two today, I get to just go full CSI Ann Arbor.
You know what it is? It's those text tones yesterday. It's the aftermath of that.
My man Drew has the loudest phone in America.
Because they were pretty harsh. So I think that may be what it is.
If you missed it, yesterday we had Drew Ingraham on from Furman University. He is the Senior Associate Athletic Director there at Furman. He came on to talk a little bit about the football team and the run that they're on right now, ranked number 2 in FCS football. We set up last night's debut against North Greenville at home for the Dins, a game that the Furman Paladins did take a dub away from the Crusaders in. We talked about all of that. And while we did, Drew somehow managed to get his phone into the microphone, not next to it. It was like physically inside of the microphone. It hit us. It hit Zoe and I and all of you with a couple of dings that I'm pretty sure I haven't recovered from yet.
I think he was using his phone as his camera. And I think that's why, because it was internal.
I don't know. I mean, that seemed like it was a pretty high quality webcam. And if that's true, I didn't know what the hell phone he's got.
Yeah, I think he was using his phone because of how loud the tone was. It would, so an internal ding would be a little bit louder than it being off mic.
Texter says Lonzo overplays the good morning bite, but yeah, the guitar riff slaps. The guitar riff does slap. CSI Ann Arbor. CSI Ann Arbor.
You caught me. I was getting ready to play the good morning thing like 10 times in a row.
Yeah, I know you were. That's why I immediately said CSI.
But see, I think
Ann Arbor.
I think the person who's texting is trying to play a game because they think that you don't like the good morning thing.
No, I don't.
So
Very clear.
So they're trying to goad me into playing it more to bother you.
Haven't made it a secret. I despise it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a show lined up for you for the rest of this AM. We have got breaking news out of the National Football League. We have got last night's Thursday night football game.
It was Monday.
No, I know, but it was a Thursday night football game.
Yeah, but it was Monday.
Right. It was played on a Monday, but last night was a Thursday night football game.
Yeah, but today's Tuesday.
Correct. But last night was a Thursday night football game that just happened to be played on a Monday.
Oh, so you're talking about quality?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
I am not saying last night somehow time traveled Loki style into Thursday. I am saying last night was a Thursday night football game dressed up as Monday Night Football.
Come on. We know what's coming up Thursday. No.
Oh, God.
No.
Oh, God.
No. You're wrong. That's compared to Thursday, that was a Monday night game.
I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, Friday morning, I might still be drunk from drinking through Thursday night.
By the way, you can hear the Thursday night football game right here on the Fan.
Oh, and you should. I kind of want to treat that game like Mystery Science Theater style.
Your Carolina Panthers take on the juggernaut of Chicago Bears. I don't want to put a "the" in there because they lost that a long time ago.
We might MST3K that game, honestly, because I think us cracking smart aleck jokes on a web stream might be more entertaining than the game. That being said, last night I did get to watch Arnold Schwarzenegger feed a donkey live on TV.
You know, I saw a clip, but I didn't listen to the sound. I'm sure the sound made it even better of him feeding the donkey. Yeah, it's just, because
this is my donkey. It's a fat ass.
I
have to feed it.
Did he really say that?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Okay, all right.
I turned on the game. I made it about 10 minutes. I don't know why I turned into like a bad Dracula knockoff there. My bad, Arnold. That's my fault. I watched 10 minutes.
It's much better than your Bill Clinton. I got to tell you. It's like 100 times better than that.
And then I had to go work out because I am here to pump you up. I didn't watch it. I watched, I'm not going to lie. I watched about 17 minutes of that game, and then I decided that if I was going to watch unnecessary crime and violence, I was going to finish The Sopranos.
See, my thing is, I saw the matchup, and I'm like, yeah, I'm watching Raw tonight. So that I watched Raw.
I'm still behind on Crown Jewel, so I wasn't quite ready to get there yet.
Yeah, I went past the window, so I'm not. I mean,
that's fair.
And yeah, I watched some more of it yesterday. I already know what happens the rest of the way. So
I decided if I am going to watch people unnecessarily offend my senses with disturbing and gratuitous content, then I would just finish up the 20-year-old program that is The Sopranos, which I got like 4 episodes left before I get to the infamous ending. It's pretty good. I like it. It's good. It's really good. I know what the ending is. So it's like, I know Rosebud is the sled, but I got to watch it anyway just because it's a classic, right? All right. Coming up today on the radio broadcast, in the next segment, another thrilling episode of CSI Ann Arbor. The AP dropped some news yesterday. We'll tell you what that is. I've already told you what it is. We'll tell you more about what it is next. Then, coming up at 7 o'clock, your water cooler cheat sheet, the 3 items you have to know before you go start talking sports with your coworkers on your first smoke break. Then at 7:20, it is time to give away this week's Awards of the Week. I've got actually more nominees this week than any other week so far in the football season. Stellar performances from both college and pro ball. And we're going to hand out some TMFI and our awards coming up at 7:20. When you say it in your head, how does it sound? Do you bleep the word in your head?
No. I'm not hearing a word. I'm trying to do the letters. I'm not.
How do you do the letters without saying the words they stand for?
We'll see.
T, that, M, mother.
ACT. I don't know what ACT stands for. SAT. I don't know what that stands for. I don't sit there and go,
right, but this is an act. A test, you don't have to go SAT.
Right, because that's only 3 letters. There's we've seen other people can't get it right on the stream either.
Right.
It's just you're the only one that can get it right.
If you're going with the anagram and getting
it's
the letters
TMFINR, right?
TMFINR. Yeah.
I just did it. So. But I don't. So you're trying to get me to do that, and I'm not going to do that.
No,
I'm more worried about.
It's a genuine question.
I'm more worried about I cannot get the letters right.
Lonzo does not use the words of curse, and so I'm curious when you're putting the anagram together in your head. Do you? I just pointed out that, and I don't know why this is a fascination for you, but I just pointed out that there are a lot of things that are acronyms that you don't go, okay, what's this stand for? At least I don't. I just spell out the letters. I just need to type it on the screen. Okay. I need to make sure that it's on there on our chapters and on our podcast. And nobody knows what it means except for you. That's what it stands for. However, I do not know. ACT is something cognitive test, and SAT is no idea.
See? You just know it's a
idea.
test. And I know this is a segment.
It is, and it's coming up at 7:20. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you segue out of a discussion. We got to take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I got to go get the blenders. I got to go get the shades because it is time for CSI Ann Arbor, the newest episode. Could there be? I can't do it on the fly. In episode whatever we're on, is there a second shooter? Find out next on CSI Ann Arbor. The Rob Brown radio program continues on the Fan Upstate.
Good morning.
Oh, you would. All right, guys, quick live read, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
This is cornerback Dante Jackson.
This is Brian.
tremendous savings and
all right,
real
good morning,
debt relief.
everybody. Joe
Accredited
Skrilla.
Debt Relief
Everybody
has
else that's
established a
hanging out
special
creepily
hotline
in
for
the
you to
background.
call and learn
How
what
do you
savings
do?
you
Wonderful to be
qualify
with you.
for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion.
Got another
in
one for
debt
you, Joe.
And are A+
SWAT.
rated with the Better Business Bureau.
What's
Don't
SWAT
wait.
stand
Get
for?
the relief you need during these hard
It
economic
is
times.
special.
For this
hang
free
on, I know
information,
this one.
call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
I know a lot of teams are going to
800-873-7171.
Tis
Special
the
response
season.
team?
Season for what?
For the Upstate Holiday Light Show.
Where's
know
that?
this.
At their new
Someone
location,
put a
District
picture.
Park, at the
Ryan Day is
intersection of
trending, so
123 and
look at it.
153.
There's a
Millions
picture
of
of
incredible Christmas
Ryan
lights and
Day
music,
in the
a
white
giant
Bronco.
Christmas tree, a
Special
600-foot-long light tunnel, carnival
There's a
rides,
picture of
and
Ryan
even
Day
a
in
petting
the
zoo and
white
pony
Bronco.
corral.
Ryan
Do we
Day
need
is
tickets?
now on the
Yes, you
run
can
from
get your
Michigan
dates and
State
times
troopers from
even by
making Jim
fast passes
Harbaugh
at
feel sad.
upstatelights.com. We should all go together.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show opens Thanksgiving night at District Park at the intersection of 123 and 153.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders.
Apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but Ryan
We have
Day
an
and his
unwavering
family are
commitment
receiving
to
death
help
threats
keep you up and running. Call Grainger.com.
because
Stop by.
Michigan fans
Grainger,
have decided
for the ones who
that
get it
Ryan
done.
Day did it.
yeah, it just, I mean, you know, it makes sense to blame them. Someone did it. We don't know who it was. Maybe someone in the organization did it. Maybe they were, maybe the guilt finally got to them and they're like, I can't take it anymore. I gotta let them know.
Stuff to make you big and strong. Stuff we can name in this song. Stuff for lawns and decking halls.
All right.
Say big on stuff at Amazon. Stop. Save on stuff you really need and stuff you bought for fun. Stuff you've always really wanted this holiday at Amazon. Stuff that is discounted if you're naughty or you're nice. Stuff to buy your grandma who drinks her Chardonnay with ice. Stuff to make you big and strong. Stuff we can name in this song. Stuff for lawns and decking.
I don't care.
halls.
It's not my, you know, and I think you're wrong.
No, I heard
No, I think you just love it so much.
Stop.
that I played it
Sponsored
again.
by
I
Corley
will tell
Plumbing,
you
Air and Electric.
that it's
At Corley Plumbing, Air,
two
and
different
Electric,
barter
we offer
spots,
flexible
and the
scheduling
barters
to
are
meet your
combined
needs.
2:30s
Call Corley
together,
Plumbing, Air,
and so they were
Electric
scheduled
today, or
back to
skip
back.
the line and book
And
online.
so
CorleyPro.com.
AIM,
That's CorleyPro.com.
not the Marvel thing, but the or DC or whatever it is, but the one that loads our commercials.
Grab your coffee
Didn't
and get
know
a jolt
that
of
they were
sports
the
on the
same.
Rob Brown Show with Lonzo. Now, weekday morning 6 to 10 on the Fan Upstate.
All right. Strap in, friends, because CSI Ann Arbor is about to get even better. On the most recent episode of CSI Ann Arbor, reports have begun to circulate. Sorry. On the latest episode of CBS. Nope. Oh, come on, man. Get it together, Rob. On the latest episode of CSI Ann Arbor. A former employee at a Big Ten football program said on Monday it was his job to steal signs, and he was given details from multiple conference schools before his team played Michigan to compile a spreadsheet of play calling signals used by the Wolverines last year. According to the Associated Press, they spoke to this former Big Ten football program employee on the condition of anonymity, fearing the disclosures could impact his coaching career, which, yes, means he's probably still coaching. The employee said he shared with Michigan the documents which showed the Wolverines' signs and corresponding plays after his school faced the Jim Harbaugh-led program in 2022. The program also passed along screenshots of text message exchanges with staffers from a handful of Big Ten football teams with Michigan, giving the program proof that other conference teams were colluding to steal signs from the Michigan Wolverines. So, what do we have here? Well, apparently, stealing signs in the Big Ten is just how they do things, I guess. I don't know. All right?
So it's waiting to hit the thing, and then you just like
I was trying to
ruined
come
it.
up with a pun on the fly, and I blew it. All right? I blew it. I even put on the shades and everything.
Wow, you didn't drop a pun.
I know. I'm off my game today, dude. I've been dealing with headache for coming up on 17 hours.
I was going to hit it anyway.
I
That just seemed
know.
like a good spot.
I know. I blew it. What do you want? The coach said he gave the additional details to Michigan last week because he hoped it would help Jim Harbaugh's embattled program, adding he believes the head coach and his assistants are being unfairly blamed for the actions of a rogue staffer. The alleged actions by Michigan's opponents potentially violate the Big Ten sportsmanship policy, which is being used as the basis of the conference's case against Michigan. The school in the Big Ten confirmed Monday that Michigan had received notification of potential disciplinary action from the conference. Michigan is already the subject of an NCAA investigation into an alleged impermissible in-person scouting and sign-stealing scheme. A former low-level staffer, Connor Stallions, allegedly attended and also sent people to opponents' games to record video that was used to decode their in-game signals. The scandal has loomed over Harbaugh's team as it chases a third straight conference championship and the school's first national title since 1997. Michigan plays at number 9 Penn State on Saturday, and if the team was at all distracted by the tumultuous
Just say tumult.
swirling around the program, it didn't show on the field last Saturday as the Wolverines beat Purdue 41-13. Oh, God. Okay, can I read you how the next paragraph starts? This is the start. Drop the music because you're going to want to hear this, Lonzo. This is how the next paragraph
because
starts.
I can't hear above music, apparently.
No, I'm saying this is better than that joke. That joke is my favorite running gag on the show. This is better than that. The next sentence in this AP article starts like this, Lonzo. Wrestling star Ric Flair dropped in on Harbaugh. Just spent the morning with my close friend, Flair posted on X, along with an image of himself and Harbaugh in the coach's office. Now, here's the best part about this. The sentence or the paragraph before that is a quote from a Michigan Wolverine player. The paragraph after that is the NCAA doesn't allow sign stealing, but it has rules against in-person scouting and using electronic equipment, blah, 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 for zero reason at all other than it's Ric Flair. The author of this article from the AP was like, yo, Ric Flair's up in here talking about it. Obviously, that's part of the news. Obviously, the Nature Boy. Woo!
All right.
Commenting is something I have to mention.
All right. So the dirtiest player in the game is hanging out with Jim Harbaugh.
You know, my God, I didn't think about that.
And we're surprised that Harbaugh's cheating.
I didn't even think about that.
I mean, come on.
So at a point in time where Jim Harbaugh is fighting for his life, the dude that he has coming in to have his back is a guy known for decades as the dirtiest player in the game. Woo! Woo! Michigan. I mean, if you weren't yet convinced that Michigan is the heel in all of this, they got Nate out here dropping tweets about hanging with their coach. Listen, in my head, that conversation's incredible. Hey, Rick. Hey, it's Jim Harbaugh. Hey, I got a question. I'm sitting here in my khakis here in the office, and listen, we let's just say the ref just caught me with the belt in hand. And my question is, how do I get away with it, Rick? Rick, how do I get away with it, Rick? Can I buy some Rolexes, Rick? Should I buy a limousine, Rick? Will that help me get away with this? Hey, Rick, can you help me out? I know that's not a good Jim Harbaugh impression.
Might as well be. The only way the story gets better is if Dom Mysterio shows up tomorrow.
Jim, let me tell you how we did it in the yard.
Why'd you sound like Jim Rome?
I don't know.
That's not how Dom sounds. Let me tell you how my deadbeat dad taught me how. No, actually, the reason why I was saying that is because he's the one who looks most like Eddie Guerrero. So Eddie can't actually show up, but if it was Eddie showing up the next day, that would be even better.
Can I tell you how freaking
Ric Flair is there?
Amazing it is that at a point in time that Michigan is facing massive allegations, at a point in time where a huge swath of the college football audience across America is calling for the disqualification of Michigan for cheating, the guy who rushes to their defense is known as the dirtiest player in the game. Whoa! Whoa! That's incredible, dude. And, by the way, the author of this article is Larry Lage of the AP.
Oh, yeah, Larry. Yeah. Everybody knows Larry.
Larry, I would like to welcome you into the fold of dudes who decided to just outright out themselves as wrestling fans. Because the only reason you mentioned that Ric Flair came to the aid of Jim Harbaugh is because you went, the people who get it are going to get it. Right? If Triple H put up a tweet in support of Jim Harbaugh, nobody cares. If, I don't know, Rhea Ripley, well, I would care. That's not the good point. If Batista put up a tweet supporting Jim Harbaugh, blow my mind over here. If any wrestler anywhere from any organization put up a tweet supporting Jim Harbaugh, nobody cares. But when Michigan is under fire for cheating and Ric bleeping Flair is the dude that runs to your defense, that's incredible. Bravo to Larry Lage. All right, let's actually get to the real part of this story. Rocking some throwbacks.
Wasn't the version I was looking for.
No, it's not.
That's the one I found. It's the disco version.
No, it's not.
Which also has kind of a gangster vibe underneath, so
Disco
it might fit.
Flair would be great.
Yeah. Well, actually, I saw Disco Flair. I was alive then.
All right, so let's get to what is actually the meat and potatoes of this story. Although that is what the kids would call a banger. So according to the AP, a former employee at a Big Ten football program said Monday it was his job to steal signs, and he was given details from multiple conference schools before his team played Michigan to compile a spreadsheet of play calling signals used by the Wolverines. Now, here's what that means.
This is a smokescreen. This is a guy hired by Michigan to put it out there to make it look like everybody else is doing it. I do not believe the story.
Everything's a work.
If you want to divert things away from, don't you do that?
You hire your own Tyler from Spartanburg.
Or you hire Ric Flair and ask him how he would take care of it.
So the AP is reporting that a former employee at a Big Ten football program. Now, I am not a journalist, but I used to be. All right? I used to be one. And let me tell you how theoretically this is supposed to work. Theoretically, Larry Lage, whose name is attached to this article, would have this conversation with this source. And what he would do is he would require this source to prove to him that he has the credentials that he claims he has. Tell you how it doesn't work. How it doesn't work is bring. This is Larry, go. Hey, Larry, I'm a former Big Ten coach. Okay, what can I do for you? A bunch of other Big Ten schools gave me Michigan's sign. Oh, really? Yeah. A bunch of other Big Ten schools gave you Michigan signs. Yep, sure did. Okay. Article will be out in 20 minutes, right? Like theoretically, he would have the credentials proven to him. He would put a timeline together. He would make sure that this guy's story makes sense. He would make sure that the timeline makes sense. He would ask for some qualifying evidence outside. I totally did it. Trust me, bro. Now, did Larry Lage do that? I'd like to hope so. And if Larry Lage didn't do that, then Larry Lage should probably be out of a job. But that's another discussion for another time.
How do you spell Lage?
L-A-G-E. Larrylage. Writes for the AP.
I'm going to investigate Larry right now, but he has Michigan ties.
How did you say I'm going to investigate Larry and not give yourself the bum-bum? That was the one spot in this segment you should have dropped.
I only have two hands, dude.
Oh, fair enough. Lonzo is going to Lonzo is going to investigate Larry Lage. Dun dun.
Yeah.
We are not working.
No, because
it's going real bad right now.
I had to fade the music, so I didn't turn my thing back.
Lonzo is launching an investigation into Larry Lage. There it is. Nailed it. First try. Bang. Got it. All right. So the AP is claiming that a bunch of Big Ten schools had the signals and delivered to him the signals of the Michigan Wolverines last year. And I'm going to tell you right now, I thought this morning when I was going through this story, I thought to myself, the funniest outcome for the football universe to me would be if Michigan was able to prove that Ohio State did it first. Like they totes did it first. Okay.
Wait. Larry Lage, sports writer covering all sports in the great state of Michigan since 2000. Okay. He made sure he put in his profile, the great state of Michigan.
I call it the great state of South Carolina.
Okay. Well, so you're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point.
So I don't need to go any further. I mean, that just right there.
No, you do.
So that says everything.
Yes, because if you are from Michigan, you are only allowed to be a Michigan fan. Like me,
No.
noted Clemson and South Carolina guy from Florida.
No. If you put in your bio the great state of Michigan, that means you lean a certain way.
No, it doesn't.
It absolutely does.
Everyone calls the
text line
state
71307 stream. Doesn't that mean he's leaning towards Michigan?
No.
This guy's a plant.
Everyone
This guy's a hack.
calls a state they're in the great state of.
This guy's a dupe. He's on the payroll, man. He's on the payroll.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buckeye Lonzo feels under fire.
No, I don't.
do.
I said earlier, whoever cheated needs to be caught and be in trouble for it. It doesn't matter. It's convenient that suddenly, as the heat is turned up on Michigan, suddenly Larry Lage from Michigan, the great state of Michigan, breaks news.
Get it right.
And probably has the same amount of sources that people around here have.
The great state is a very popular way of saying whatever state you are in.
Sorry, I
don't think
great should ever be mentioned in the state of Michigan.
There it is. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. So jokes aside, let's actually nail down what this is.
By the way, I'm not joking. I think it's a little obvious. This guy lives in Michigan, writes about Michigan, has great state in his bio. He's going to lean that way no matter how much he says, well, I'm unbiased. And it does seem very convenient that suddenly this evidence pops up as the heat is being turned up even further on Michigan.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lonzo, every time he talks college football, will always lean towards Clemson because he's in South Carolina, and that's how it works.
No, I don't have that in my bio.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. And by the way, I do lean towards South Carolina. So there's that.
So how do you know he's not a Sparty guy?
Come on.
That's not an argument. Come on. It's not an argument.
Come on.
Sources is the come on.
Why are you hiding your eyes, Rob, when we're having this conversation?
Because I'm Horatio Caning this whole story. All right. So jokes aside. Yeah, I can't do it. My head hurts so much. All right. So, according to Larry Lage and according to the Associated Press, there is a former employee that worked at another Big Ten football program who said that multiple conference schools had worked together to get Michigan's signs and put it together in a spreadsheet of play calling signals used by the Wolverines last year. The funniest outcome for me when I read this story last night, very late after Monday Night Football was over, what a fart that was, oh God, if they nail Ohio State, that's the funniest possible thing. But it's not. That's not the funniest possible thing. Now the funniest possible thing is if every other school in the Big Ten were all doing it to Michigan first, and then Michigan got caught. It is the college football equivalent of the second guy always gets caught, right? It's the end of the play. The defensive lineman puts a little extra pepper on the QB. The offensive lineman runs over and blows him up. And it's the O-lineman who gets called for the 15-yard unnecessary violence.
Poof.
And now this. And now this. It's incredible, man. This is incredible. By the way, somebody on the text line just called him Jim Harburglar. Jim Harburglar. All right, so, which by the way, also, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to now. Apparently, Harburglar did a press conference yesterday.
Woo!
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he had to say. I'm sorry I missed that yesterday. I'll catch up on it. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on this story as it continues to break because the AP and Larry Lage are saying that the coach passed along screenshots of text message exchanges with staffers from a handful of Big Ten football teams with Michigan, giving the program proof that other conference teams were colluding to steal signs from the Wolverines. This is no longer a a Michigan scandal. This is now a Big Ten scandal. Now every school in the conference has the eyes pointed towards them. The Midwest is falling apart.
Can't believe you just got Larry Laged.
This is incredible. I love this.
You're falling for this.
I am falling for it, and I
love
it.
You just want this to happen.
Yup. Sure damn do.
That's unfortunate.
Sure damn do. I am always, before anything else, an agent of chaos. We're back after this with about big 10 more minutes of this hour on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Get robbed. This is the Rob Brown Show.
No,
on
that was bad.
Upstate.
I don't want.
I'm Tony Missouri with your sports update.
No, that was
Upstate. The college basketball season
just said, who's the AP? Who the hell is the AP? Who owns them? What are they?
Clemson will be at Little John Coliseum. They'll take on Winthrop. South Carolina, they open at home in Columbia. They'll take on USC Upstate.
Oh, so
and Wofford Terriers will take on Brevard in Spartanburg.
You know the Ohio State guys at Texter when they
Ryan Blaney
text
is the champion of 2023,
right?
Finished second at Phoenix behind Ross Chastain.
That's 100%
and that was
a Buckeye.
better than the other three drivers
because
in the Final
people
Four, including Kyle
understand how
Larson, who
that
came in
works,
third, and
go
William
off
Byron,
scent
who ran fourth.
make
The
themselves
win
look
gives
like
Penske
something, even
back-to-back
though they're not.
championship.
Do you have
They
a
won the title
wall
with Joey
in your
Logano
house
last
that just
season.
has like a bunch
NFL,
of
the
like
Carolina
boards
Panthers,
they
they
do it with
fell
a
to
bunch
the
of red tape
Indianapolis
wrapped
Colts
around
27-13.
pins?
Bryce Young threw 3 interceptions,
actually
2
two
of which
walls.
were returned for touchdowns. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute upstate traffic. So far, a great looking start this morning. Looked at I-85. I don't really see any delays there between Highway 101 and Woodruff Road. It looks really good, both sides of the roadway. Now, some construction, Highway 29 north in between Zion Hill Road and Highway 57, that right lane taken away, and construction along I-26 in between Highway 292 and Asheville Highway. You've got 1 lane blocked. From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lori Houston on the Fan Upstate.
Hey everybody, Mark Ryan here.
Maybe this is actually a plot
I
from the
come before
rest
you
of the
today with a heartfelt
NCAA
appeal.
because
We
this
have
way
the
they get
opportunity
the
to
Big
make a
Ten
difference,
out
to stand
of the playoff.
beside those who have served and sacrificed for our country. Our good friends at Ingalls Markets have teamed up with Upstate Warrior Solution, a nonprofit that has served nearly 9,000 warriors and their families. Now you have a
We
chance.
can keep digging, we can keep searching, but in the
Right now, when you
end,
shop at Ingalls
the
Markets,
true
you can
villain is Ric
purchase an
Flair.
icon at checkout for just $5. And 100% of the proceeds go directly to Upstate Warrior Solution. Please consider buying an icon or two between now and November 11th at your favorite Ingalls Markets location. If you want
Thank you, Josh. I didn't, just I'm having a sleepy day. What can I say? I took care of it though, and I appreciate it. You guys always let me know when I leave something on.
Jesse, my favorite college football team is the University of West Florida Argonauts.
I really hope that that Ric Flair comes out and defends the integrity of Harbaugh, because I just think that would be
The funniest thing that's ever happened.
that would be awesome. He probably already has. I've seen him throwing up videos about Harbaugh, but I haven't actually listened to them because Maize and Blue makes me ill. Well, yeah, I mean, according to certain standards set by hosts, that would be it. Josh, you'd have no choice but to. I'm sure there's probably some good teams on campus somewhere, just not the football team right now. So according to the NFL, just tweeted reminder: Josh Dobbs is not only a baller, but he's also literally a rocket scientist.
Is he really?
I don't know. They got a picture of him in a spacesuit, holding some sort of prism. I don't know what's going on. Well, that's actually a pyramid. My bad.
Somebody just said the only Big Ten staffer not cheating is Brian Ferentz.
That's what you need. That'll take care of your headache. A Vicks Vapo shower.
Whole shower.
He does jump teams, doesn't he? Fandom to the highest bidder.
So we got a text during the break that said, who is the AP? Who the hell is the AP? Who owns them? What are they? And I love that texter. I genuinely love that text.
More acronyms. Stop.
Texter said, just listen to that rambling, incoherent presser, start talking about Flair, then ramble out stats that Michigan has piled up against cupcakes. Yeah, Michigan's schedule has not been anything to write home about.
Way to do the dirty work there, Texter, going in and actually listening to that stuff. Ugh.
Oh, I'm listening to that press conference the minute we get off.
Oh,
the radio.
no.
The whole thing.
I'll take my time getting in there.
The entire thing am I listening to. I can't wait. Texture said, Michigan is not worthy of being called a great state. It's the great state of South Carolina. Yeehaw! Does South Carolina yeehaw? I don't think South Carolina yeehaws. Except that guy. No, that's not the guy. Yeehaw! That's not the guy either. You know the guy. That's the guy.
And yes, I have those three right in a row. Because
you have to.
Yeah, it's category.
Texter said, conspiracy. It totally is, dude. Totally is. Texter said, just go to break and come back. Get some coffee or Monster LMAO. Totally did. Totally did. I'm falling apart over here.
More acronyms. Stop it with the acronyms, people. It's too hard. It's too difficult. TMFRNG something.
Texter said, you did not answer my sincere question. Who is the freaking AP? The AP is the Associated Press. The Associated Press is one of, if not the largest organized news media outlets across America. If you read the news, any of the news, any genre of the news, Texter, you are reading AP more often than you're not. The AP basically is a news organization that has writers that if you carry news, you subscribe to and carry stuff from the AP. The AP's got its own walkout music now.
Well, you're glorifying the AP, so that's
I'm not glorifying. I'm telling this guy what they are.
Sounds like it sounds like it needed fanfare. I mean, the celebration of the AP.
The Associated Press. Hot off the press. I've lost my 20s news guy voice. I used to have one. I don't have it anymore. Breaking, read all about. I can't do it anymore.
No, it's because you got some sinus going.
That might be it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
The AP.
You also have fingerprints all over your sunglasses.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I like the blenders a lot, but they are real susceptible to fingerprints, and I got fat, greasy hands. All right, I got sausage fingers, and Dion did not take ergonomics into consideration when he designed the blenders.
Do you think he takes his sunglasses on and off by himself? He's got people for that.
Dion's got a sunglasses guy. Venables has got a get back coach. Dion's got a glasses guy.
He takes them off when the sun's out, cleans them, puts them in the case.
Dude, he doesn't take them off. He coaches the night games in the blenders. I assume when he gets to the locker room, he sits on the throne that is his office chair, leans back and goes.
Yeah, it's a side lean. No way. Yeah, I mean, side leans are cooler.
And a guy in a gold suit comes out with white gloves on, removes the glasses, places them in a diamond encrusted 24 karat sunglass case.
Like you wouldn't do that if you could afford it.
Totally would. But I had to
call the guy bank. Jimmy or something, just even though it's not his name, because you can.
I had to spring the break to buy the blenders. So I don't have diamond encrusted, gold plated sunglass case money, unfortunately. All right. So anyway, somebody said the only Big Ten staffer not cheating is Brian Ferentz, which is an incredible joke. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a second Steeler. Second steal, like second shooter, but second Steeler.
Oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. I'm intrigued, dude. Like I said, I hope that just everybody inside the Big Ten all gets caught.
I'd like to believe you're rooting for the chaos and not and hope and not hoping that it hurts me.
Not hope it hurts you.
Because I'm again strip Ohio State of all their wins if they cheated. I mean, you cheat, you get caught. But only one team brought in Ric Flair. That's all I'm saying. Only one team did that.
That is the best argument you have going right now. We got to run to a break. Lonzo is about to absolutely tickle your imagination with some incredible sports stories. And then we come back with hour 2 on the Rob Brown radio program at the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, ain't no tickling going over here. College basketball tipped off yesterday in the women's game. Don Staley's Gamecocks knocked off a top 10 Notre Dame team 100-71 in Paris. Camila Cardoso led South Carolina with 20 points and 15 rebounds. While that was happening, the defending national champions LSU were upset by number 20 Colorado. Angel Reese had 15 and Haley Van Lith had 14 in the loss. On the men's side, Brad Brownell's Clemson squad started the season with a 78-56 win over Winthrop. PJ Hall had 20 in the effort. Cross state, Lamont Paris and his Gamecocks opened with an 82-53 win over South Carolina. Upstate, 4 Gamecock starters ended in double figures, and USC shot 55% from the 3-point line. 3 more big hours coming up right here on the Rob Brown Show.
Go back to my glasses so I can see again.
Party's over. Rob's getting serious. Cheers to greatness.
Program makes it easy to lose weight and get healthy naturally, safely, and effectively. We can help you lose unhealthy fat without counting.
Are you watching yourself?
I just posted something and I'm making sure so I was testing something on Instagram because I posted a reel and I wanted to see if it cuts off, and it does, so I can't post it. Because you can only post things that are up to a minute in length. And if you post something over a minute, it just cuts off everything after a minute. So I posted a whole reel with a whole take, and it got right up to the point where I was going to make the take, and then it cut off after that. So I had to delete it.
You should just wrote the word tease across right as it ends, and then, then come back with another video later.
What I have to do now is I have to cut it into 2 pieces and make a part 1 and a part 2. The problem is when people are scrolling through their reels, if part 1 comes up, then I have to rewrite the whole caption about go to my profile to see part 2.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show has a new location.
and 153. Millions of new lights, carnival rides, a petting zoo, and pony corral opening.
We should make of all the team a pack of all the teams in the Big Ten who don't cheat. After all the West Coast teams join, there might be 12 of us. You can call us the Pac-12 or something.
On custom holiday cards, save 50% on custom invitations, and save 50% on custom photos. It's not about the ho. It's about saving do. Save 50% on custom cards, invitations, and photo gifts today at Staples. And Staples 16 visit Staples.com/print for more details.
Hey, you're up next. My throat hurts so bad. There's no way I can.
Decided to take a walk through the woods yesterday for no reason at all. And I got halfway through and started thinking, what if I die out here? People are going to wonder, why was I out here? And I don't know why. I just decided to do this. It's all right. I wasn't trespassing. I was still on my property. You know.
Ooh, Lonzo's got property.
How else would I tell people to get off of it if I didn't have it?
Good morning.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now. This, friends, is the Fan Upstate. Welcome in. Great to have you. Hope you're having yourselves a lovely Tuesday morning so far. We are, or at least I am. I assume Lonzo is. We have talked quite at length about CSI Ann Arbor and the developing story from the AP that maybe it wasn't just Michigan.
Game over.
You know who else might have been cheating in the Big Ten? Everybody. Just everybody. The whole conference.
Whatever.
Here's the fun part. We've spent 2 weeks now having everybody in the Big Ten saying, oh, if Michigan was doing this, they should get absolutely hammered for it. And now, while Lonzo is maintaining his moral ground, and I respect and appreciate it, the meltdown amongst other fans, if it turns out that, oh, yeah, by the way, you know that thing Michigan was doing that you wanted to murder them for? Yeah, you were doing it too. So how's it feel now?
So here's the thing for me. If you are going to report someone for doing something that you're already doing, how dumb is that? And that's why, you know, if you're also doing it and you are in the media or whatever going, yeah, we should take them down. How dare they cheat while you're cheating? You should get double the punishment. I don't care if it's my team or not.
Hilariously enough.
And by the way, I'm not buying any of that. I think it's just Michigan.
Hilariously enough, people who blatantly violate the rules very frequently are dumb. And then there's Rick. Ric Flair's random involvement in this is just the best thing of the day.
Yeah, see, you're calling it random. I'm not so sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's just after 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, which of course means it is time to get you the sports knowledge that you need. It is time for your water cooler cheat sheet.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying,
"You hear that?"
even before they take their first bathroom break.
No. Here we go.
Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
Did you see Joey Bosa's strip sack fumble celebration last night?
I didn't. That would have required me actually watching that.
Fair enough.
And I did not.
He went full sumo wrestler on it. It was hysterical.
Good.
Yeah, very funny. Ladies and gentlemen, the water cooler cheat sheet, the 3 items that you must, don't have a choice, must know before you get to work and start talking sports on your smoke break. Let's start with item number 1. The sound that you just heard is the sound of the activity you must have been partaking in last night if you decided to watch all the way through that Monday night football game.
It's a water cooler, man. I don't know what's wrong with you people.
Yeah, sure. The New York Jets fall to 4-4.
Hey, could you give me a sound of an actual bong so I could put on here?
Yeah, you already got one.
No, I mean an actual one.
Yeah, I'll just go to one of those videos of Urban Meyer.
Okay, all right.
On his boat.
Does he really?
With his boys.
Does he really do that on the boat?
No, but the guy in the background does.
Oh, okay. All right.
Guy in the background absolutely 1,000% does. It's an old video, but it checks out, sir.
I've tried to find the actual sound in our library, and apparently it's not in there, or I just don't know how to word it correctly.
Yes. In fact, during the next break, I will find that sound. It is imperative.
I just think we need to go point counterpoint to prove that that's not the sound of a bong, or prove that it is.
Zach Wilson, 33 of 49, 263 yards, 0 tutties, 0 INTs. But the problem was Zach Wilson fumbled the ball 3 times last night. 2 of those were recovered by the San Diego Superchargers. Garrett Wilson also fumbled one away as well. 3 turnovers for the Jets last night, 0 offensive touchdowns. They managed a field goal in the second quarter, another in the third, and that was it. And it wasn't like the Chargers were playing excellent football. They had less than 200 total yards of offense. Justin Herbert, that guy that was going to take over the league, and he's the next great. Yeah.
Hey, was this in California?
This was in New York.
Okay. Because I was going to blame California Cougars.
Yeah, this game was in New York.
For it being the reason why he fumbled so much.
Justin Herbert, 16 of 30, $136, no tutties, no INTs, either. Just 84 yards of rushing offense for the LA Superchargers. Austin Eckler, 14 carries, 47 yards, but he did score twice. They also had a defensive touchdown on the evening as well, as Darius Davis was able to pick up one and score with it. And that was your game. Yes, it was as awful as it sounds.
All right, so I have a question for you. So how many bad NFL games have you witnessed this year? Because it seems to me that the games have been really, really good. And so you're going to have a dud every once in a while. And if Aaron Rodgers hadn't got hurt, we might have been seeing an aerial show from him last night.
So that we are very clear. I am aware you're going to get crap games in every sport. And 99% of the time, I just go, that's too bad. Because realistically, if you're complaining about a crap game, all you're saying is, I wasn't entertained enough by the big athletes who put their bodies on the line for my entertainment. But last night was just a special kind of suck. It was just the worst kind of suck. Anyway. More Beavis and Butthead, please. Item number 2. We spent some time on it already, but CSI Ann Arbor is on its way to the next level. Why? Because 2 things happened yesterday. Numero uno, the Big Ten officially and formally notified Michigan that it could be facing disciplinary action from the league, according to a Michigan official. A letter was sent to Michigan from the Big Ten as part of its sportsmanship policy. It requires a notice of disciplinary action, quote, in the event it becomes clear that an institution is likely to be subjected to disciplinary action, end quote. The Big Ten's letter alludes to evidence of the illegal sign stealing, which compromised competitive integrity and other principles of the sportsmanship policy, according to sources. Michigan has until tomorrow to respond to the Big Ten, according to sources. Athletic Director Ward Manuel on Monday said he will not travel to Texas for college football playoff selection committee meetings and instead will remain on campus, quote, attending to important matters regarding the ongoing investigation into our football program. Tony Petitti on Friday met with Michigan President Santa Ono in Ann Arbor, where he reviewed some of the information obtained from the NCAA about Michigan's alleged signal stealing operation. The letter was delivered 3 days later on Monday. Now, according to ESPN, potential B1G discipline for Michigan likely would be a suspension for Coach Jim Harbaugh rather than any team-related punishment, according to sources. The league's sportsmanship policy allows Tony Petitti to impose up to a 2-game suspension and a $10,000 fine as standard discipline. Any discipline exceeding those marks would fall under major disciplinary action and would require approval from the Joint Group Executive Committee, which includes officials from several Big Ten schools. If the Big Ten does impose discipline, Michigan and Harbaugh are expected to explore all legal options to push back against the league, according to ESPN. Although the sportsmanship policy grants Petitti the authority to, quote, determine whether offensive actions have occurred, end quote, the Big Ten's handbook also cites NCAA-initiated cases and notes in those cases its compliance and reinstatement committee, quote, may impose additional penalties if warranted subsequent to the NCAA action, end quote. A source told ESPN, quote, we're going to explore every single option to make sure Michigan is treated fairly, end quote. Dun dun. All right. That story's not going anywhere, especially with the other news that we talked about in the last hour, that there are now other schools that may have done the exact same thing, even though they've been coming after Michigan for like 2 weeks now. Interesting. Item number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, may I be the first to welcome you to college basketball season. It has arrived last night on the hardwood. Games taking place around the country and around the world as the Gamecocks, under Dawn Staley's direction, hit the century mark against Notre Dame, and the number 6 South Carolina Gamecocks knock off the number 10 Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. 20 points dumped by Camila Cardoso for South Carolina last night. The leading scorer, 9 of 14 from the floor, 2 of 3 from deep, as South Carolina in Paris knocks off a top 10 opponent in their opening exhibition. That wasn't the only game. Over on the other side of the pond here in the States, LSU, your reigning, defending, undisputed women's college basketball national champions, were defeated in their opening contest by the number 20 Colorado Buffaloes. Remember, LSU did not just bring back Angel Reese, a.k.a. Bayou Barbie, last night, but they also added Haley Van Lith, one of the most popular players in the game, because Haley Van Lith, DGAF, bro. She is a player I really like watching play. She came down to LSU expecting, alongside Angel Reese, to just run rampant through women's college basketball. Instead, they dropped the opener 92-78 your final as Colorado knocks off LSU. Over on the men's side, Tom Izzo. Quick quiz. Does anybody remember Tom Izzo's last national championship? Go ahead, write it down. Rob Brown Show Home Edition underway. When was the last time Tom Izzo won a national championship? You know, one of the all-time iconic coaches in college basketball. When was his last natty?
1998.
Very close. 2000. It has been 23 years since Tom Izzo won a natty, but he's constantly mentioned with Mike Krzyzewski, with Roy Williams, etc., etc. The 2000 NCAA tournament was Tom Izzo's last natty, and last night, his campaign for another, starting as the number 4 team in the country, started with a resounding 76-79. They lose to the James Madison Dukes.
A lot of venom there. Do you just not like Izzo?
It's not that I don't like Izzo.
Yeah.
It's that I'm tired of Tom Izzo being discussed as if he's a Mike Krzyzewski. He's not. He's the next layer. He's a B coach.
Just like Dan Marino being in a conversation when you're talking about the greatest football
No, that's
players.
entirely different.
It's the same sort of thing.
Entirely different.
I think it's a
Did
good
Dan
argument.
Marino play for 40 years? I don't think he did.
You haven't seen the latest commercial where they're trying to come out of
The
retirement?
unretirement is
Yeah.
great. Is great. Michigan State falls to James Madison, who between basketball and football is now 10-0. A 9-0 football program of the Dukes, a 1-0 basketball team with an away win against Michigan State. Good on the Dukes. Keeping it a little closer to home on the men's side, Brad Brownell's Clemson Tigers get a W out the gate, 78-56 over Winthrop. PJ Hall led all scorers for the game, 20 points, along with 5 boards and a pair of assists for the big man, 8 of 15 from the floor. He also shot 6 threes, knocked down a pair of them. It was 12 off the bench from RJ Godfrey. That was the spark for Clemson last night. They start their 2023-24 campaign with a win, and Lamont Paris and his Gamecock basketball program got a dub as well, an 82-53 victory over South Carolina Upstate at the crib. 4 Gamecock starters in double figures last night. Cooper Johnson, Stute, and Mack all had double digits in the points category. The Gamecocks shot 54.5% from deep. They held SC Upstate to 25% from behind the arc. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your water cooler cheat sheet. When we come back, it is Lonzo's favorite segment of the week. It is time to hand out a few TMFINR awards, and we will do it next. We'll ask who is not real. Some of the best performances from college and pro ball are coming up next on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Zach, you have started a conversation that I'm excited for you to have with the great one.
What? Huh? I have my headphones on. I only heard part of it.
Said Zach has started a conversation I'm very excited for him to have.
How do you know we haven't added on?
We did. You looked at the screen and went, nope.
I'm talking about that.
All right, guys, we're back in 30 seconds. Don't go anywhere. I got to get a granola bar.
You get a granola bar. You did. You're eating breakfast. Oh my God. At a time when people are actually eating breakfast. People are getting up, they're eating you're eating breakfast.
I've been up for almost 4 hours now.
True, but still you're eating breakfast when with everybody else who's eating breakfast.
Ordinarily, I'd be up at like 8 and eating at like noon.
Why is it out of date?
What?
It's just because I have my hair back. That's all. And I have my glasses on. Is there something on the picture that made it out of date? Or is it because Rob didn't have long hair?
Let's see. We have, where'd it go? Mine is for sure.
Mine is just this.
Right.
That's all it is. Oh, it's Rob. Okay. Yeah, it is there. All right. Yeah, we took all kinds of pictures that day. We got like 2. Listen, Zach, throwing in an Otto Graham in there. That's well done. Well done. I do believe he doesn't belong there, but I also really enjoy the anger that it invokes. And you know what? There are a lot of people out there, believe it or not, have no idea who Dan Marino is. Because I'm guessing a lot of his, if he had records, I don't know. If he had records, they've been broken. And he didn't win any championships. So he's just another player on another team. And that happens to everybody as records get broken and things. And again, I'm not sure he had any records. But if he did, I'm sure they would be broken. Well, Jesse, according to other people on the station, we couldn't have a favorite team in each conference. We're not.
Favorite team in every conference. I mean, I guess I do in the SEC because I'm from Louisiana, so I like LSU.
Well, let's see. South Carolina, Ohio State, Pac-12, Colorado.
Honestly, my favorite team per conference changes
with whoever's
week
winning.
by week, honestly.
Okay, so it's a front runner thing. Or?
No, it's a personality thing. Like I really like Washington right now.
With
I really like Oregon right now.
With the ACC, I'm going to say whoever's better than Clemson, which would be about 4 teams right now. So all of them are my favorite. Who am I leaving out? I went Pac. Who's left? Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12, ACC. Who's the 5th one? Who am I missing?
Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12.
Big 12. I'm missing Big 12. Yeah. Who's in the Big 12?
Texas.
I'm gonna go with Texas. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas. Even though Quinn cut his hair and he's currently hurt, I'm gonna go with Texas. There's a Manning there, right?
There's what?
A Manning there in Texas.
Right now, but the rumor is he might transfer out.
Wonder why.
All right, it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, we pick a couple of performances by a couple of dudes out of the world of football, and we say, with our TMF INR Awards of the week, ladies and gentlemen, and today is no different, so let us get to it. Let's start in the land of the National Football League. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going with our first guy. Listen, 20 of 30, $158 and 2 touchdowns isn't necessarily a line that is going to get you an award, but it does when you've been with the team for 5 days. It does when you don't know the names of the offensive linemen ahead of you. It does when you have never taken a snap from the guy that is playing center. It does when your coach is in your headset saying to you, okay, in this play, that wide receiver is going to run a 5-yard in. That wide receiver is going to run a 10-yard out. That wide receiver is going to run a fly, and your blocking scheme is to the right. It does when you are Josh Dobbs. I mean, the numbers aren't going to blow you away. The fact that he did it being around that team 5 days with no knowledge of its playbook, and he won the game, wins Josh Dobbs a TMF INR. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a shutout this weekend. The Cleveland Browns blanked Josh Dobbs' former team, the Arizona Cardinals, 27-0. So there are a pair of TMF INRs out of this game. Number one, the Cleveland Browns defense, because it, dudes, was good. They got 2 picks of rookie Clayton Tune in his first start. They also took a fumble away from Clayton Tune in his first start. And on the other side, Amari Cooper was a dude. 5 snags, 139 yards and a touchdown. The Browns defense and Amari Cooper pick up a TMF INR award for the week. Kenny Moore II from the Indianapolis Colts, it pains me to say, ends up with a TMF INR. Why? Because he had not 1, not 2 INTs. He had 2 pick sixes in the 27-13 win over the Carolina Panthers this weekend. He went after BY. He got BY. The Colts also had a 3rd pick as well, but Kenny Moore put 2 of them into pay dirt. Kenny Moore II.
Pickaboo pass. Picked off the pickaboo pass.
I gotta tell you, I went back and watched that pick he threw on the screen.
Here I am.
I went back and I watched that pick he threw on the screen. The second one, the second pick six.
Yeah.
That was not on Bryce Young.
Of course not.
It was not on Bryce Young. That was 100% on Chuba Hubbard. Or Miles Sanders, whoever was running back on that play. I don't
anybody but him. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, it turns out when your running back just stops for no reason and doesn't run to where he's supposed to be, tucked in behind the offensive lineman, the screen's going to go the wrong place. Yeah, that's how that works. 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm going to Aiden Connell. Aiden O'Connell. O'Connell is picking up a TMF INR award. Listen, the award doesn't go to numbers. It goes to performance. Aiden O'Connell was named the starter on I think Tuesday. It was announced he was going to replace Jimmy Garoppolo. 16 of 25, 209, no touchdowns, but most importantly, no interceptions. He allowed Josh Jacobs in his 98 yards and 2 touchdowns to carry him. On short notice, a quarterback coming in and getting a 30-6 win picks you up a TMF INR award. Speaking of quarterbacks, a guy that is today receiving his first TMF INR award. This L, as much as I would love to tell you that it is, this L is not on Dak Prescott. 29 of 44, 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, there were a spot or two where Dak lost his mind, couple of underthrows. The 2-point conversion shoulda, coulda, woulda been good, would have made it a 28-25 game and changed up the Cowboys' strategy late in the game. But
you mean Dak went Dak?
No, Dak went 29 of 44 for 374 and 3 touchdowns. I don't know what else Dak can do in that spot. I don't know what else he can do. Dak Prescott had himself a game. I, before anybody else, love to absolutely on Dak Prescott's game when he deserves it, but he did not deserve it here.
Listen, we all know that win or lose is the quarterback's fault, so it's absolutely his fault they lost. He should have scored more points.
That's my response.
Is that Morse code?
Might as well be.
You need one more for an SOS.
Dak Prescott had himself a day, picks up his first TMF INR award. How about another quarterback having himself a day? It was a showdown between the Bills and the Bengals. It was a showdown between Josh Allen and Joey B, and it was Joe Burrow who had himself a night. 31 of 44, 348, and a pair of touchdowns. The Bengals had a whopping 54 yards of rushing offense in this game. They needed Joey B, and they got Joey B because Joey B is not real. And finally, we wrap up our NFL edition of the TMFINR Awards. Who else could it be, Lonzo, than CJ Stroud? 30 of 42, 470 yards and 5 touchdowns, a QBR of 147.8. That is just about perfection. CJ Stroud had the best single game performance by a rookie of all time. That's it. That's the statement. CJ Stroud is not real. Let's go to college football, shall we? Let's start with Kyle Monangai. He is a running back for the mighty Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. Now, Rutgers lost their game 35-16 against Lonzo's Buckeyes of Ohio State University, but it wasn't because of Kyle Monangai, who had 24 carries for 159 yards into the teeth of a Big Ten defense. This game was a 9-7 Rutgers lead at halftime, and it was because of Kyle Monangai, who had himself a day at the RB1 spot for Rutgers. How about Jordan Travis at Florida State University? They were on the road against Pitt, and Travis, without Johnny Wilson, without Keon Coleman, 2 wide receivers, talented enough that you know who they are. The top 2 receivers in his offense were both out for whatever reasons they were out. Jordan Travis still went 22 of 36 for 360 yards, and he did so into the face of a Pat Narduzzi defense. He got help from Trey Benson, 12 carries, 97 yards, including a 55-yard house call. Trey Benson gets an honorary. Jordan Travis gets an actual TMFINR award. Bo Nix for Oregon. Oregon is good. I've told you for a while now, I think Oregon might be the most complete team in the National Football League right now. And part of it is because of the former Auburn Tiger, Bo Nix. 29 of 38, 386 yards, and 4 touchdowns in that performance. I don't know what else I need to do to get you people to put some respect on the name of Bo Nix, because that dude is playing right now. Jonathan Brooks from the University of Texas. They were in a fist fight with the Kansas State Wildcats. It went to OT, and the Horns did indeed hook them, partially because of Jonathan Brooks, 22 carries, 112 yards, and a TD on the day. CJ Baxter was good too, 10 carries for 90 yards. That's a 9-yard per carry average with a touchdown to show for it as well. But John Brooks put this team on his back and was able to get out there and get it done. Malik Murphy, the quarterback for Texas, 19 of 37, 248, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. John Brooks got saddled up, and he did big things. Stop committing a hate crime, Alonzo. You're committing a hate crime right now. All right. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. The Running Rebels were on the road taking on Jimbo and his Aggies, a team that is trying to save their coach's job. And Jackson Dart made it that much tougher to do so. Quinshon Judkins also had a day, 23 carries for $102 and 3 touchdowns. But Jackson Dart was throwing his last names at people. 24 of 33, 387 yards, and a pair of touchdowns as well. Jackson Dart is not real. What are you buzzing Jackson Dart for?
Throwing his name at people. I should have been quicker. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, that was questionable. I admit it. We're having an off day. What do you want? For Louisville this weekend, how about Isaac Guerrero, running back, 11 carries, 146 yards, and 3 touchdowns as Louisville takes on Virginia Tech and improved to 8-1 on the season. Isaac Guerrero was unreal this weekend. Let's keep going. How about a couple of Utah Utes getting their name in the paper today. The pig farmer, Bryson Barnes. It's not the yardage that is impressive. 19 of 28 for 161. It is the fact that he tossed not one, not two, not three, but 4 TDs in that game. But he had some help. Jaquindon Jackson had himself an absolute day out of the running back spot. 13 carries, $111, and a touchdown as well. Bryson Barnes and Jaquindon Jackson. Those are not real. Let's keep going. How about the NC State defense? A week after they knock off the mighty Tigers of Clemson, they square up against the Miami Hurricanes. And what did NC State's defense, a defense that I told you, Clemson fans, you needed to look out for, do against Tyler Van Dyke and the Canes? Not much. Just picked him off 3 times and held him to 173 yards of offense. NC State's defense is no joke and is not real. Neither is Jalen Milroe, the quarterback for the University of Alabama. Here's the stat line. 15 of 23 for 219, no touches, no interceptions. Well, Rob, why is he on the TMFINR awards? The answer, Lonzo, is because on top of 15 of 23 for 219, Jalen Milroe ran the ball 20 times. He's a quarterback. For 155 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow, indeed. Jalen Milroe had a duel with Jaden Daniels, and Jalen Milroe won it. How about the Arkansas Razorbacks up against the Gators of Florida, a pair of teams that are not where they want to be. Sam Pittman coaching for his job, and maybe this helped out a little bit. Listen, KJ Jefferson had a decent day, 20 of 31, 255, 2 tutties, and a pick. But how about 226 combined rushing yards for the Arkansas Razorback running back field in a game they had to have? The Arkansas running backs. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get to a pair of awards handed out at home. We start in a game, less impressive of a win, necessary though it was. Spencer Rattler, 27 of 38, 399 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. And it was bolstered by Xavier Legette. 9 snags, 217 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Hey, Lonzo, that Xavier Legette guy is pretty good, bro.
Most impressive.
Yes, indeed. And finally, we wrap it up with maybe the most TMFINRist of all the TMFINRs, Phil Maffa, workhorse, 36 carries, 186 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. The Clemson Tigers, including sack yardage, Lonzo, had 176 total rushing yards. Phil Maffa had 186. He had all the rushing yards. Quadzilla had 16, Cade minus 11 on 3 sacks. But Phil Maffa carried this Clemson team to a victory over a favorited Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Phil Maffa!
Feel me? For real. Do you feel him, sir?
I do. I'll tell you who felt Phil Maffa, the entire Notre Dame defensive line, because he ran through them a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, there are your TMFINR award winners of the weekend. Are there any you think are too high? Are there any you think are too low? Is there anybody who got one and shouldn't have? Is there anyone who did not and should have? Your thoughts are welcome. 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE, or text us on the carpros.com text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. All right, coming up in the next segment, Dabo and Shano have both taken a little bit of criticism over the past week and a half, and I know why. They have both done the exact same thing, the exact same way, to justify that criticism. And I'll tell you what that is when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. You know it.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, what in the world is that? USTN. I don't know what that is. More acronyms. But it means upstate traffic, I think. I won't know till it plays. Peekaboo pass. Someone tweeted Kyler Murray is expected to start this week for the Cardinals. The new Call of Duty comes out Thursday. Cardinals are +2 against the Falcons. I don't know why that's
Hammer Atlanta.
Yeah.
Hammer the Falcons.
And there's a picture of him playing Call of Duty. He got some sweet looking beats. I mean, it looks like reddish camo. I like it. No mic though. I mean, maybe it's hidden on the other side of his face. Can you play that game and not talk to people?
Yeah. There's an online single player.
Is there?
Yeah, so it's like a battle royale style game.
Okay.
But it's everybody.
You're still fighting other people.
Yeah. But you don't have to tell them.
It's like Fortnite.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You can do 1, 2, 3, or 4. Singles, duos, trios, or quads.
But if you're going duos or quads, you definitely need a mic to talk to your squad.
Yeah. If I am convinced you can't. Me and the boys have tried before to see if we were good enough to win a game without communicating with each other. We're not.
By the way, I beat Starfield yesterday.
You finished it?
The main story.
The main story?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
Mm.
Not Skyrim, obviously.
Well, no. I mean, it was.
The odds I ever finish that game are very.
No. You could get through the storyline pretty quick.
Yeah.
I'm taking my family to Upstate Holiday Lights. We'll meet you there, probably more than once. The family loves it, and it puts everybody in the holiday spirit. It kickstarts our hollies and jollies.
The Upstate Holiday Light Show at their new location, District Park, at the intersection of 123 and 153. Thanksgiving night. Enjoy them.
So, not to spoil, but you have a choice. You can stay where you are
In the game?
like as far as the universe you're in.
Yeah.
And just continue playing along with where you are, or you can go forward into whatever happens next, which will lead to New Game Plus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I know what happens if you stay in the universe. You just continue to play and visit planets and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to see what the main end game was, which I beat without conflict. So because you have an option to try to talk people out of stuff, and I actually did it. So
I'm sending you a video to watch. 345-pound former NFL player Kellen Hurd walked into a boxing gym.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, you saw that video?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
They put a flyweight
was
Mexican
tearing him
boxer
up.
up against an NFL player, and he smoked him.
Well, the other thing is, I think he's thinking he's going to go in, he's going to one-shot some
Yeah.
people, and that dude is like
A boxer,
like a
technician.
like a chihuahua jumping around. Just, I mean,
he works him.
Yeah,
he works him, dude. One of the hardest things to learn as a person is that accountability matters. Accountability is important. Accountability for yourself is important. Accountability to others is important. But one of the most difficult things to deal with is when other people hold you accountable for your actions, for your expectations, for goals they have of you, for objectives they set for you, and most importantly, for objectives and goals that you set for yourself. When you set objectives and goals for yourself, people that care about you want to see you meet those objectives, want to see you meet those goals, want to see you accomplish things. And when you fail to do so, they may very well tell you about it. When you fail to meet the objectives and the goals that you set for yourself, there will be people who will call you to the carpet. And sometimes it can be kind of difficult to come to the realization that the reason that they are doing that is because they want you to succeed. Because expectations and being held accountable for those expectations and people telling you that they want to hold you accountable for those expectations, it can often feel like personal criticism. But it is not personal criticism. It is them saying, I love you, I care about you, and I want you to meet the potential that I see in you. But we don't always see it that way. We don't always react that way. We take it as a personal attack. You're the perfect example. Fiance and I get married in less than a year. We have both said to each other, we are going to lose weight together. Neither of us wants to be fat on the wedding day. And we both said we're going to hold each other accountable for the not being fat thing. And then there are times when one and or both of us order a pizza. And it's painful when your partner looks you in the face and goes, hey, you're not losing weight. You're not dropping lbs. Your waistline is the same, because it can feel like a personal attack. But the reality is they're just trying to point out that you said you were going to do a thing for your own betterment and you're not doing that thing. For the past couple of weeks, we have heard Dabo Swinney really take some criticism, really take some fire. For the past couple of weeks, folks like Tyler in Spartanburg have been lobbing criticism, or what can come across as criticism, at Dabo Swinney. It's Tyler! And I have told you the reason for that. Now Shane finds himself in the same position. If you missed it, in his post-game press conference after the game on Saturday, Shane said, we're going to celebrate this dub. And there are some people out there who live a miserable life who will ask, why are you celebrating a 10-point victory over Jacksonville State? Now, there's a couple of things at play here. Number one, it was remarkably close to not being that. That pick six at the end of the game is the only reason it wasn't at the best a 3-point victory over Jacksonville State, and at the worst, potentially a 4-point loss to Jacksonville State. Here's the reality. By being Shane Beamer, you have elevated the expectations of the South Carolina Gamecocks football program. Dabo Swinney, by hanging a 40-foot-long, 10-feet-tall banner across the practice facility, visible to every Clemson Tiger, that says, best is the standard, you have set an expectation for your football program. Now, I will even give credit to both of them. As I said in the video that I posted yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, it'll be up on our Facebook page here in just mere moments from now. If you haven't seen it yet, I said in that video, should South Carolina celebrate the win? Yes, you should. You should celebrate every win. Wins are fun. That's why we like football. You should enjoy the win. You should enjoy every win. Wins are fun. That's why we like football. You should even tell your fans, hey, we're happy we won. And that's wonderful. But the reality is to tell your fans that they are miserable because their expectations are higher than needing a last-second remarkable play to get by what is a glorified FCS team. Your expectations are higher than that. And frankly, they should be. I am not one of these people that goes, hey, how would Ohio State feel if they needed a last-second pick six to get by East Michigan?
They would celebrate because they got to win, because that's what people do.
Yeah, no,
when you get a
definitely
win.
they would, for sure.
They would not be miserable.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And talk about how everyone's miserable.
Because college football fans are known for that reaction.
And some of them are miserable.
The expectations are higher. It is not misery, Shane. It is the fans asking for accountability. There's a difference. It can feel like criticism, and people who constantly criticize are often labeled as miserable. They're often not miserable, but they're labeled that way by people who don't like being criticized for not living up to the expectations that they set for themselves. This is not, I don't think, I mean, I've interacted with Gamecock fans for 4 years almost now directly. And you know what's funny? During the preseason, when I said on this radio, hey, Gamecock fans, call me, text me, tweet me, email me, what are your expectations for the season? You know how many fans I had say, I expect to go undefeated? I expect to win the SEC. Hell, I don't think we got a single fan saying, I think we should win the SEC East, Rob. We got a lot of, 8-4 improvement. Some optimistic fans saying 9-3, maybe even 1 or 2 who said, I think 10-2 is a reasonable expectation. Now, I understand the injuries are a massive problem at South Carolina. I also understand you faced arguably the most difficult schedule in college football, period. But the expectations of don't find yourself in a fourth quarter knockdown, drag out fist fight with an FCS team that does not have a single top-notch wide receiver, that's not unrealistic. That's a justifiable, and in my opinion, very fair expectation to have of that football program. And here's the interesting part. In that same press conference, Shane held up a sheet of paper and he said, I have filled this paper up with mistakes from today's game. I have filled this paper up with things that we have to get better at moving forward because that wasn't good enough. Then why are you criticizing fans for saying that's not good enough? I don't understand that. Dabo went after 1.5% of his own fans for having the expectation that the best is the standard, and Clemson is very clearly not. And now we know for a fact not playing the best ball they could be playing. And if best is the standard, if best is the standard, an expectation that you set, and then fans go, you're not meeting the expectation that you set for yourself, are they miserable or are they just asking for accountability? If you improved the confidence, the optimism, if you told fans that the expectation should be raised and then you don't meet the expectation and the fans say, hey, you didn't meet the expectations, why would you call them miserable? The cardinal sin of coaches with a microphone, we've seen it happen time and time again. The cardinal sin of coaches with a microphone is to start name-calling and dragging their own fans for having the audacity of expectations. Tickets to South Carolina games cost hundreds of dollars. If you want to watch a game, you've got to give over 3 hours and 20 minutes of your day off to do so. So to have some expectations regarding a return on that investment and being disappointed when that investment does not pay off, that's not misery. That is accountability. And some people just don't like it. You know what I like? Sports flashes. Like this one.
Time to get past the miserable takes. And by the way, Steiner Mathers out there, 1/2 and 0.5 are the same thing, just in case you were curious. Last night on the game heard right here on the Fan Upstate, Furman got a victory in basketball, 84-68, with a win over North Greenville in their first game without Mike Bothwell and Jalen Slauson. Marcus Foster led all scorers with 18, while Cooper Bowser came off the bench for 13 on 5-7 shooting. It was an ugly night for the New York Jets, who were put down by the Chargers last night, 27-6. Zach Wilson went 33 for 49 for 263 yards, but also fumbled 3 times. Justin Herbert threw for only 136 yards, and the Chargers rushed for only 84. But Austin Eckler scored twice on the ground. 2 big hours coming up here on the Fan Upstate. I don't get the miserable thing. I don't. By going on about the misery, you're actually proving them right. By the way, Zach, if you're still listening, did you let him live? This is a video game question, by the way, people. Did you let him live? I really enjoyed that game too, by the way, especially being able to use the controller and make the wind go across the fields. That was so sweet. See, I did the same thing, because if you let him live, he has to deal with the shame, and that's why you let him live. If you don't, then he wins in a way. Cameron's like, why did you let him live? It's because it's worse for him to have to live after all he put you through. He has to live in shame.
One of the worst things happening, Boomer take incoming, I think, is that there is a distinct lack of shame, specifically in this country. I think we should go back to shaming some people. Some people deserve to be shamed, like people who film TikToks in public.
Okay, I thought we were going Scarlet Letter or something like that. I was just, okay, all right, okay, all right.
Influencers should be shamed publicly. If you were ever at a restaurant and somebody stands up to film a TikTok with their dinner plate, we should all band together to publicly shame them out of the restaurant.
So how is this bothering you? I mean, if they're being loud, maybe, but if they're just standing up with their camera and it's, I don't have a problem with that.
Nope.
Because food's amazing. If your food looks really good, I think you need to let people know how good it is.
98% of meals are not worthy of putting them on the internet.
That's a personal perspective. Maybe 98% of my meals are.
They're not. And the problem is, people honestly think that this is my meal, therefore people want to see it. No,
you are not the judge of my food.
No, I am.
All right.
Everyone is the judge of how they feel about everything.
You judging my food will not make it taste any better or any worse. I get that, Zach, but if you let him live, though, I think it becomes, I forget what it said on the end because it's been a year or two since I beat it. He like lives in shame for the rest of his life. So do you watch said TikToks so you would know that they're bad? Or do you skip past them?
My favorite.
I don't TikTok because I'm in my 50s.
My favorite TikTok and Reddit threads are the ones that film people filming TikToks to show how ridiculous these people are.
If I were going to watch TikTok, I would only watch R-Truth TikToks.
I need to follow him. I didn't know he did a TikTok.
Dude, I mean, that's he does a ton of stuff like that.
If you're funny, you're funny. And I appreciate people who are naturally funny.
I also like the funny. King Charles with the crown on. I mean, it shouldn't be funny, but it's just like, this doesn't look right.
Man with funny hat encrusted with gems worth the lifetime earnings of multiple families gets on a stage to talk about how his government is doing its best to make life more affordable for the working man.
And he also has no power to do anything.
None.
He's just a king.
None. British people, why are you still putting up with this? Like, I don't think we need to have that conversation on air, but it is funny as hell to me.
America.
I'm telling you, bro. I mean, without getting into the conversation, we're not a heck of a lot better, but at least we don't have a king. A king in 2023. A king.
You can go back to your place of origin, mister. Or Canada. That's where everyone says they're going. If this happens, I'm going to Canada. Okay.
The perspective we're on here is that King Charles this morning gave a speech about how the British government is working to improve the lives of working families while sitting on a stage wearing a crown encrusted in jewels worth more than the lifetime earnings of multiple British families.
I didn't even look at the headlines. I just see him, his
he
head
looks like a dork.
Yeah, his head leaning over, and I'm thinking, man, he is struggling to keep that thing's got to be heavy.
Okay, I'm done. I wasn't done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is hour number 3 right here on the Fan Upstate. Let's talk some Nash Football League. Oh, dude, I'm struggling this AM. Let's do NFL Power Rankings, shall we? And let us start from the bottom, our bottom 5.
Gee, I wonder who's going to be at the bottom.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 32nd best team in the National Football League is the Arizona Cardinals at 1-8. Kyler Murray might be back this weekend, but as Lonzo pointed out correctly and pointed out hilariously, also, while Kyler Murray is working to come back on Sunday, the new Call of Duty game drops on Thursday. All right? Now, I'm a Call of Duty guy. Me and the boys, we squad up a time or two a week, get online, light up some noobs. I don't have an NFL playbook to run through coming up on Sunday for tens of millions of dollars. So, I am going to tell you now, and I'm going to go ahead and warn you that
I'm still trying to figure out why the Panthers aren't last. So I can't wait for this explanation. Okay. All right.
I am going to throw out there that if Kyler Murray sucks this weekend, true or not, I don't care. The jokes are going to be relentless on Monday. All right? I'm just warning you all now. Because as Lonzo and I have evaluated in the past, you can draw a uniquely correlating line between Kyler Murray's annual statistics.
There are scientific studies out there. It might be a course at Clemson. I'm not sure.
Might be. You can draw a pretty directly connected line between Kyler Murray's game-by-game statistics and the newest release of Call of Duty. Almost annually, Kyler Murray plays at a pretty respectable level, then Call of Duty comes out, and then Kyler Murray's stats just tank.
Hey, Rob, don't hate the player. Hate the game.
No, I love the game. I love the game. It's a great game. I play it a couple times a week. I love the game. In this case, yes, hate the player.
Yeah, but if the game wasn't so good, it would entice people who should be paying attention to other things to come and play it.
That's the player's fault, not the game.
It's like sugar.
Oh, honey. Number 31, the Carolina Panthers at 1-7. Carolina won a game a week and a half ago. Then they came out this weekend against Indianapolis. And I'm going to tell you what, as Hank Hill would say. If it wasn't for a couple of pick sixes, they would have won 2 games in a row. And despite Lonzo texting me at 7:45 on a Sunday night to say that he hopes Coach Frank takes the little guy out to Dairy Queen to ease his pain after throwing a pair of pick sixes,
You saw it. You still see it. Hand in hand, taking them to Dairy Queen. What do you think he orders?
Dude, you are being such a jerk right now.
Because you see it.
You are such a jerk.
Because you see it.
If it wasn't for the pick sixes, and I know that what's the old expression? If my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bicycle.
I don't think I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's an old school phrase.
Sounds British.
If its and butts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. If my aunt had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. Whatever. The point here is if those pick sixes come off of the board, Carolina probably wins this game as well. But they don't. And I think, nope, scratch that. I'll be definitive because you got to have hot takes to be a radio host. As a knower of ball, as an individual by whom ball is known, I will tell you that, yes, BY had his hands down worst performance as a Carolina Panther. Without a doubt, I acknowledge that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was bad. And I will also acknowledge that it was made worse by the fact that in the same weekend, on the same day, C.J. Stroud threw for 8,000 yards and 96 touchdowns on the same day. So I know that there were a lot of people that were reaching over and hitting the panic button. Oh!
You mean just now? They just now did that? Okay.
They did it on Sunday. And I get it. But
so they had hope until Sunday, and then they saw that, and that was it.
No.
They're done.
I just think that when you compare and contrast things, something that is very, very good makes something that is bad look much worse, right? If you look at me, you'll go, he's an okay looking guy. If you put me up next to a picture of Bradley Cooper, you'll go, those guys actually look a lot alike. He's very handsome.
By the way, the Kirk Cousins shirt is rocking today.
Isn't it? I want you to know, and I'm dead serious about this. When I put it on this morning, I went into the top of the closet and I pulled out, I have a cardboard box that has all of, I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear it. It's just not my thing. Like at the most, I'll wear a watch, and I'm not even wearing a watch today, but I used to. I was a hooper. I used to have the chain, not like big chains, but I used to have like the gold woven chains and stuff like that. I want you to know I pulled that box out of the top of the closet this morning because I was 100% going to see if I could find the biggest chain I've ever owned to wear with a Kirk Cousins shirt. Couldn't find one. Couldn't find one that was appropriate. Anyway, If you put me on a picture, it's like, hey, he's not bad looking. You put me up next to Bradley Cooper, it's like, oh, he is a fat slob, right? That was this weekend. So, as knower of ball, I can say that BY looked bad. And also, BY looking bad was exacerbated by how bad the rest of this team is. If you look at this team and your only take is Bryce Young is bad, that's all you got. Bryce Young's bad. You are not a knower of ball. You're just a guy or a gal or equal opportunity.
There are great players on bad teams everywhere.
Yes.
But when you are a really bad player on a really bad team, so bad that you stand out on said bad team, that's not good.
He only stands out because you want him to be bad.
Yeah, because he's not tall enough to really stand.
Exactly. You want him to be bad.
The peekaboo thing is the worst thing I've seen since the butt fumble. I mean, it was worse than me fumbling what I was saying. It's so bad.
I am not sitting here trying to argue.
Anybody else uses that? I said it first. Peekaboo pass.
I am not sitting here trying to argue that Bryce Young had a good game and everybody else stank. No, he stank too. He was bad. There were overthrows. There were underthrows. There were misreads, misfires. I'm going to tell you two things. Number one, the rest of that team around him is garbage, with the exception of Adam Thielen. The rest of that team, and maybe Chuba Hubbard on his good days, the rest of that team is garbage.
The punter ain't bad either.
And Johnny Hecker. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Johnny Hecker, Chuba Hubbard on his good days, and Adam Thielen. Everybody else on that team is, as the kids say, cheeks. All right? They're cheeks.
When did this start?
They're butt.
No, I get what
butt cheeks.
No, I got what I mean. When did that start? I just, I'm trying to stay up to date on the lingo.
I don't know. I just heard it one time and I liked it a lot.
Okay, yeah, I
heard
can see
somebody
why.
at the hockey game refer to a play as cheeks, and I was like, cheeks, and he's like, yeah, like butt, and I'm like, oh yeah, well that's the thing I say now. I like that a lot.
It's the first time I've heard you say it.
Like,
so,
I know. I just learned it this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, big fan. That's cheeks, dude. What do you mean cheeks? Butt. Yes. Anyway, point is, this team stinks, and the team stinking is make it look like BY is worse than he is, which is, as of right now, not great, Bob. Not great.
Objects in the mirror are not as. I'm going to stop.
Texture said, B. Young looking like the Spence, the rat daddy, running for his freaking life because those angry men were looking for violence. Yes, they were. Also, oh, that's right. I said I was going to tell you two things.
Bring me back my phone, kid.
The first is that the Carolina Panthers are. The second thing is, as again, knower of ball, as someone who, again, ball is known by. I went and watched a lot of this game on the All-22 cam. I'm a big fan of the All-22 cam. In order to know the whole story, you got to have the whole book.
Were you like making a graph while you were watching?
No, but I was absolutely watching it on the old tablet of truth. This is where the name comes from. Watching on the tablet of truth and freezing and diagramming out as I'm watching it. Like, all right, here's where
Do
this
you
guy
say
went.
freeze when you freeze it?
And freeze. No, I don't say freeze to myself. Texture says the correct term is booty cheeks. That play was booty cheeks. All right.
See, I get that.
I'm good with that.
You're just always cutting things in half with your abbreviations and stuff.
Dope. So, if you watch the All-22 cam, one thing that you will notice, and I want you to watch two games in order to knoweth ball the way that I knoweth of the ball. Go back and watch the game against New Orleans the week before and against the Panthers this week for the Indianapolis Colts. And you're going to see something. The thing that you're going to see is that against the New Orleans Saints, Indianapolis was running a lot of base defense stuff. I'm talking base alignment across the defensive line, and blitzes were pretty straightforward. It was corners off the edge. It was linebackers through the A or the B gap. It was pretty basic football. And against Carolina, there was a lot more exotic looks. It wasn't necessarily a base lineup across the DL. It wasn't necessarily straight blitzes. There were a lot of stunts. There were a lot of folks coming from different sides than they were lined up in. They basically said, hey, we're going to throw a lot more at the rook than we threw at Derek Carr. We're going to go base defense against Derek Carr because we realize we've just got to protect against the pass game. If we can confuse BY, maybe we got a shot. And I will say the number one critique against Bryce Young right now, and a critique I will fully let fly, is that the reason you took Bryce Young was because of his knowledge, his mental fortitude, his aptitude for seeing, reading, evaluating, and executing against any given defense. And if you are going to take a defense like the Colts that had been giving up 38 points a game, and that defense, by twisting and stunting across the front, can cause a log jam in the noggin of BY, then you have screwed up. Now, am I ready to throw the guy away after 8 games? Nope, I'm not. Especially when he plays on a team that is, and let me go with the texter here, booty cheeks.
So next year, everything will be better.
I don't know. Is David Tepper going to improve the team next year?
I'm
going to tell you the truth
my
now.
question was sarcastic.
Lonzo, I could drop Patrick Mahomes on that team. That team is 5-3 at the very best. At the very best.
But at least he would win more games. At least you gave him that credit.
Patrick Mahomes. If I dropped anybody who's not Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Jackson, any in that category, if I dropped any quarterback ranked 8 or lower onto that team, they're like 2-6, 3-5 at best.
So what you're saying,
if I drop CJ Stroud on that team, they're a 2, maybe 3-win team.
So what you're saying is every other quarterback could win 2 to 3 times the amount of games that Bryce Young is winning.
That is how you want to take it.
That's what you just said, dude. That's what you just said.
What I am saying is that I told you from the beginning, because I know ball. I told you from the beginning that there is going to be a steeper learning curve for BY. Scratch that. I told you there is going to be the illusion of a steeper learning curve for Bryce Young than any other rookie quarterback. Steeper appearance of a learning curve than Anthony Richardson. Steeper learning curve than CJ Stroud. Hell, a steeper appearance of a learning curve than Will Levis. And it is not because BY is less talented than those cats. It's because of the style of game that is played. Different styles require different learning curves. The style of play of BY is different than any other rookie quarterback this year. So the learning curve was always going to be steeper. And then you place him on the worst roster of any of them. If Bryce Young had a DeAndre Hopkins on that team, they would have 3 wins right now. If Bryce Young had Houston's wide receiver core, they would have 3 wins right now. If he had Anthony Richardson's running backs behind him, they would have 3 wins right now. If he had any of their offensive lines, they'd have 3 wins right now. But he has, of all those quarterbacks, the worst wide receiver unit, the worst offensive line unit, and the worst running back unit. If you and I go out into the parking lot and get into a fight, and I pull out a baseball bat and you pull out a chopstick, I'm going to win the fight, even if you are a more badass than me.
All right, so I just I got to fight you on this, literally, because it's about the skill of the fighter when it comes to that.
Yes, chopstick v. bat. It's all about the guy holding it, for sure.
Dude, I've seen you swing. I mean, someone can get underneath that. And as soon as they get in there, you can't do anything with that bat anymore. That chopstick right in your eye,
Lonzo,
or your temple, or your ear, or your nose. It's because it's a bad metaphor. It's I will get better metaphors.
The analogy killer.
Get better analogies.
That analogy was perfect. Perfect. Texture said, do you think the Panthers will be doing better with CJ Stroud over BY? Signed Gus. I think by being a more athletic, versatile quarterback, no one is that myself. I have never argued that BY provides the same athletic edge that CJ Stroud does.
He's smart.
He doesn't.
He's really smart though.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I just,
So you don't give a damn about the talent level around him.
No,
It
no.
doesn't matter to you. It's irrelevant.
It does matter.
Okay.
It does matter, but you defend this guy like no one I've ever seen in my entire life, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
Because I understand what it is. Maybe it's you know what? Let's go with. Thank you for playing the role of therapist, Alonzo. I'm glad you did, because you just walked me into a discovery about myself.
There are things when I go home that I go, man, I just don't get that. I have conversations with my wife going, I don't know why does he defend him so much?
There may be just the slightest bit of psychoanalysis happening inside of my psycho brain right now. And that analysis is, I know what it is like to be good at something, then be provided with a cheeks level amount of resources required to do the job, and then have the failure pinned on you, even though you know it ain't on you.
I'm doing my best to help. Okay. If you need more out of me, you just tell me what else you need.
My old station that I hesitate to throw under the bus, but I don't hesitate to throw under the bus at all.
We can only win awards.
So many times.
I can't. Right? No, we can win a whole lot more.
Correct. Listen, here's my point. When I was down at a radio station in Destin, I worked on, and I mean this, I worked on a board that was older than Lonzo. Not a joke.
Those still exist?
Yeah, we had one. Lonzo, in 2010, I was working on the same box computer monitors that I had in high school in 2010. They wouldn't spring for a flat screen. That's the equipment I was working with. And I took over a show, and that show didn't go anywhere. And they went, Rob, this is your fault. It's your problem. You are doing this. I had to buy my own laptops. I had to buy my own gear. I had to buy my own software. I had to buy my own editing stuff. I worked on a board that was legitimately 25 years older than I was. I was working on monitors in the studio that were legitimately older than I was. And I got told it's me. And so, yes, when I come somewhere like here where they, I don't know, care and provide you with the resources you need to succeed, and then I go on.
Did you have a Chris there?
Hang on, racking my brain, loading. No.
Okay, all right.
I used to make the joke on the air that I am your host, your producer, your engineer, your security, your systems administrator, your executive vice president, your regular vice president, because I was.
I will tell you, when we were in the old building, we had all that stuff that you talked about.
Dude, I carried for 4 years both drive time shows by myself without a producer.
That's because
4 years.
That's because you were smart and you were skilled and you stood out amongst all the bad things that were going on around you.
I agree.
That's what he's not doing though.
I agree.
If he was a bright spot, let's say if he was Spencer Rattler, okay? There are times when Spencer Rattler, when he has time, it's amazing to watch.
Why is Xavier Leggett then?
I'm talking about offensive. I'm talking about offensive line help, and yeah, he needs help. But the thing is, he also needs skill level, which you can't teach. I want to see he's better.
Had 299 passing yards. Over 200 of them went to a wide receiver who is top of the grade. If BY had a DeAndre Hopkins, they'd have won 3 or 4 games by now.
All right, I wish we were having a different argument, because the Panthers are one of my favorite teams, but we're not, and we need to go to break because we're at an impasse again.
If you would like to hear more about how I know ball, stay tuned. We're coming back after this. It's Rob and Lonzo and you. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate.
There's nothing there to make that stop, and I'm not hitting the button twice. Yeah, those kind of boards you're talking about when we were in the old building before we moved over here.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. And they actually brought some of those boards in, and they were in all the production rooms. It was, they were yellowed, and you know they used to be white.
Dude, same. It was awful. All right, guys, 30 seconds. Be right back. Texter said, I debated a flat earther once. He stormed off saying he'd walk to the edge of the earth to prove me wrong. And I responded with, I'm sure he came around eventually. That's a good joke, me. Thanks, me.
And for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial grade supplies for every industry. With same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. All backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. Have you been wanting to find the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way with no drugs or surgery? Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Hirschhorn with New Life Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our program makes it easy to lose weight and get healthy naturally, safely, and effectively. We can help you lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, and no surgery. Learn more at mynewlifeweightloss.com.
Bill Freddy here. The New Life Weight Loss Maintenance Program, which is the easiest program I've ever done because it's all based on the reduction program, continues to produce 40 pounds, 10 inches. New Life Weight Loss.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 864-203-4290. That's 864-203-4290 or online at mynewlifeweightloss.com. That's mynewlifeweightloss.com. Upstate Holiday Lights opens Thanksgiving night at the new District Park at the intersection of 123 and 153. Enjoy more and bigger lights, petting zoo and carnival rides, driving through a Christmas wonderland. Tickets and info at upstatelights.com. Inclusive Home is a continuum of care retirement community, assisted living, memory care, rehabilitation, and skilled nursing all under one roof. An MD will visit twice a week, and physical therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy are on site. And for socialization, our director of activities has a master's degree in social work and has been at the Gables from the
Is Tepper good at soccer?
for all of our residents. In addition, our
Is the soccer team pretty good?
I mean, they made the playoffs, but I don't think he is as this is an opinion. I don't think he is forcing himself into the engagement with soccer like he does the Panthers. I will never forget when he made his wife the freaking VP of football operations, and then the NFL was like, she can't do that job. She has zero training. That was the day I knew you were screwed with Dave Tepper.
Featuring the men's basketball teams from Clemson, Maryland, Davidson, and UAB. Tickets are on sale now at AshevilleChampionship.com. Get tickets now before they sell out. AshevilleChampionship.com. Save your spot and cheer on your team at the Asheville Championship on November 10th and 12th.
Proudly sponsored by Ingles. Hey everyone, this is Richard Deitch, and I host the Sports Media, the Richard Deitch Podcast. What can you expect from this podcast? Well, each week I'll have interviews and in-depth conversations with people who bring you the sports you love, as well as roundtables with sports media reporters, about television, digital, audio, radio friends, and other forms of media. If you are interested in sports broadcasting and how you watch, listen, and read about the games you love, listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts.
Today, mostly sunny and warm with a high of 80.
Weather brought to you by Total Wine & More. With so many models to choose from, it's easy to find your favorite and new ones. With the lowest prices for over 30 years, always find what you love and love what you find only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly. Sponsored by Corley Plumbing, Air and Electric.
At Corley Plumbing, Air, and Electric, we offer same-day.
I wonder if some other people are thinking that, Nolan, because I got to admit, I thought that a little bit too. And it just it makes you uncomfortable, but at least he knew football.
Ugh.
So what are you willing to let go to have your
I-
team be a winner?
You're never going to get me with known sexual assaulter is good because my football team will be good. Because
All right. From what I recall, he just told people I'm not justifying. Stand up and let me see those jeans. Won't you stand up and let me see them jeans, Rob?
I got to call HR.
Okay, hi, I'm HR.
All right, I didn't intend to go here with this, but I'm going to anyway because we got to talking during the break. If you're not watching on the live stream, you should. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate, Twitter.com/TheFanUpstate, The Fan Upstate on YouTube, or The Rob Brown Show on Twitch. We got into David Tepper during the break. We were talking a little bit about. We had some folks on the stream. Zach chimed in on the stream. He said, BY won't make it in Carolina. He's not number one caliber. Owner is impatient, so he'll can Frank and his staff quick. There'll be a coaching carousel, and if BY ever had a shot to be great, it'll be ruined by the constant change from the owner trying to win ASAP and getting impatient. That is my prediction, and I don't have an issue with the prediction. Now, it then led to a conversation about Dave Tepper, and I am afraid that David Tepper is going to be, scratch that, is the main problem with the Carolina Panthers. We can talk about Frank Reich. We can talk about BY. We can talk about the offensive line, the wide receivers, the running backs, whatever.
But all those are a reflection of the people who hired them.
Correct. And Dave Tepper is an issue. Why? Because David Tepper has two problems. Number one, Dave Tepper thinks he is, and this is speculation and not anything else from me. I don't know the guy personally, but the impression that I get, is that Dave Tepper views himself as the smartest guy in every room he walks in. Now, I'm not saying Dave Tepper's not a smart guy.
I wonder what that feels like. I'll never know.
I mean, I do. If I walk into the room by myself, I feel like the smartest guy in the room. Dave Tepper, unlike a lot of the other Nepo babies that own NFL teams, Dave Tepper is a self-made billionaire. He built his own hedge fund. He made that money himself. So there's a bit of respect from me for that. But the problem is, Dave Tepper, if the only thing that you value is money and then you make money, you think that that expertise bleeds over into everything else that you do. And the reality is, building a football team takes money, but it is not done by exclusively money. This is a Jerry Jones issue as well. And I think that because Dave Tepper built his own hedge fund and created his own wealth, which good on him for doing it, he just assumes, well, if I can do that, I can build anything. And that's not a measure of success. Dave Tepper was a former minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you will recall.
Build a doghouse. I think I could build a real house.
Yeah, honestly, that is, from the analogy killer, the second best analogy on this show today. Baseball bat v. chopstick is number one. That's a great analogy. Jokes aside, that's a great analogy. I built a doghouse, so I'm pretty sure I can build a McMansion. Yeah, not really, dude. They're kind of different things, right? So, Dave Tepper, who was a former minority owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, thinks, well, I watched it done in Pittsburgh, therefore I can do it here. David Tepper, has for a hot minute done everything the way they did it in Pittsburgh, except for he's not the one that did it in Pittsburgh, right? It's like me going, I watched a Phil Jackson tutorial years ago on YouTube, therefore I'm ready to coach an NBA team. No, bro. That ain't how it gets done. So, yes, as James just made a very apt analogy on the stream. Come to the stream.
Not apt, because tell me the difference. What's the difference in the site?
Elon took a $44 million site. The value is now $8 billion. Regardless of the reasons why, that's what happened.
I could have swore I saw that profits were up.
They're not. They're absolutely not.
All right, I guess it depends on your source.
No, it doesn't. They are. Yeah. You can literally go look at the value options of that website.
It's down. Your anger over something that really.
It's not anger. It's comparison.
I mean.
So let's get back to football.
There's level of tone there. Remember you talked about your dad telling you about how tone matters.
Same level of tone as I have for the Panthers right now. Exact same tone.
They deserve your
for the exact same reason. So The problem that I think is Dave Tepper is a meddler. And I think he has meddled to the detriment of this franchise. And I cited the example, the reason to Zoe during the break. Remember a while back, Dave Tepper named his wife as a VP of football operations for the Panthers. I don't remember the exact title she got, but it was like VP of football operations for the Panthers. A football decision-making position for his wife. Now, I don't know a lot about his wife. I don't know personal, or I do know she had never done anything like that in the past at all. She had never been close to it. To the point that for the only time that I can remember, the NFL stepped in and said, no, absolutely not, bro. The only thing in my sports comparison life that I can remember is Tom Benson, the owner of the Saints and Pelicans before he passed. When they were rebranding the Pelicans, they were going to go with the new team name, and he put his wife in charge. And his wife was like, what if we go red and blue? And everybody's like, why? Because I like it. Oh, all right. Right? Like there was no marketing. There was no branding strategy to like, all right, how do I create something here that is going to be impactful with the people who are likely to support this team? Red and blue. Why? I like it.
I think you should clarify a little bit. It's not about them being women or anything
Not
like
at all.
that. It's just about
It's
them.
about them being unqualified for the position and having somebody put them in the position for no reason other than I can. I will absolutely promote the handle of Liberob here. I promise you. I have been arguing along with Keegan for a number of years now that the next move the Saints need to make is to promote Swin Cash to their GM spot or co-GM spot with Mickey Loomis. Swin Cash is the current GM of the New Orleans Pelicans, who has done a fabulous job of building that roster. And she is wonderful at her job. When Mickey Loomis is ready to step away, Swin Cash needs to move from the Pelicans to the Saints.
So that implies that only liberals would promote women?
No,
Okay.
I am saying if there is one person in the station you're not going to come at going, Rob says that because he's a woman, it's me.
Okay. Well,
Now-
I don't know what the political
All right.
correlation is. Okay. All right. Anyway.
The point here is Tepper made his wife a football decision maker in this program who had zero qualifications, to the point that the NFL stepped in and said, no, you're not doing that. If you want her to be in this job, she's got to go through the correct training and protocols to earn this job. And she had to go through all this. And then when it was time to hire a coach, there she was, right there with David Tepper through the whole process. And again, she did not have the qualifications. She was there because Dave Tepper went, it's my team and that's what I want. Dave Tepper is the guy who is trying to build this roster, and he can't. My evidence? Look at the roster. It's bad. It's just bad. He is not. But Bryce Young could be the best rookie prospect of the past 100 years, and this team is still 500 at its best because the roster's bad because Tep built it. He is a meddling owner. You know who the best owners are in football? The ones who get the hell out of the way and let football guys make football decisions. Those are the best owners. Lonzo knows the answer, but how many of y'all can name the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs right now? I suspect none of you, or very few of you. Y'all might know the answer, but I doubt it. Who owns the San Francisco 49ers right now? Granted, they're tumbling down the power rankings, but that's mainly because of injuries.
Eddie DeBartolo Jr.
The point is, the owners that you know, because they're involved, because they're active, because they meddle, by and large, they do not have good teams because they think they're the smartest guy in the room. David Tepper's in that club, bro. So at the end of the day, we may not argue or we may not agree about Bryce Young, We may not agree on his development or his potential or his ceiling or his floor or any of that. But I got to assume we're all on the same page that Dave Tepper is a major source of the problem.
Harumph.
There you go. Look at us. Just uniting under one banner finally. Chopsticks and baseball bats. I'm Rob. He's Alonzo. The Rob Brown radio program is in your ear holes on the Fan Upstate.
Rakes are drifting close to someone having to talk with us. So get me in trouble, Rob.
I'll come back to that. All right, guys. Be back in 30 seconds. Don't go nowhere.
Jerry Jones has a great team.
I mean, they're in the top 10 of my power rankings, which we never got to.
Yeah, well, you started.
No, it's my fault. I'm not arguing it's not.
Yeah, blame me. I'm sure it was I diverted attention away from because let me sum up the Rob Brown show. Rob and I try to decide whose fault it was for whatever happened,
anything.
even though the show is probably pretty good and we won awards. So, I mean, No, oh no. I did just get in trouble. So, I mean, it's not my fault, but I guess I'm just not listening close enough.
pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction.
Yes, Tracy, I can actually be in trouble. It's continuous actually. It's the joke of when anyone does something wrong, it's my fault is not a joke. Welcome to middle management. I don't know, Tim. Did you label them something different so I can tell if you updated them?
From the Ingles Market Studio,
Yeah, how am I supposed to know, dude? Maybe put an R in there for revised, and maybe I'd know you.
And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show continues, wrapping up hour number 3 right here on the Fan Upstate. College basketball is here. The NFL has hit the second half of the season, and I love both dearly. You know what I just didn't just realize. I was going to break, and it just hit me again. I didn't actually give you my top 10 in my NFL power rankings. I started it, and then we got into another Bryce Young debate, which I have a sneaky suspicion is going to happen a lot more times before the end of the season. It's a guess.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope there's a turnaround and suddenly he looks like as advertised, and maybe they don't win all the games, but he looks better than what we saw last week.
All right, here's my top 10 NFL teams as it stands right now. I am going to start with the Dallas Cowboys just inside the top 10. Listen, they had a game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was a game that I am happy for his sake to say was not lost by Dak Prescott. You're going to see a lot of people blame Dak Prescott, and if you've listened to the show for any length of time, you know that I love to jump in and bust up Dak Prescott. Listen, the only bad loss right now for the Dallas Cowboys is at Arizona back in week 3, but just about everybody's got a bad loss at this point. So the two other L's at San Francisco, at a point where San Francisco was a roll-in, was the number 1 team in the NFL in my power rankings for like 6 straight weeks. And then they lost to the team that is currently my number 1 team in the NFL power rankings, the Philadelphia Eagles, in a game they absolutely could have won. Dallas is right there on the cusp. And if they keep getting that Dak Prescott, they're probably going to be pretty good. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers checking in at number 9? Remember at the beginning of the year when everybody said the Steelers are done, they're toast, vamos, they can't do it anymore? Well, they have won 3 out of their last 4. Their only L is to the team that is higher ranked than them. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Steelers suddenly playing pretty decent football. I've got them at number 9. At number 8, oh, what a tumble. The first team we have seen that has dropped down in the power rankings, yet they are still the same record as the Cowboys. That would be your 5-3 49ers. They won 5 straight. They've lost 3 straight. Now those 3 L's, not awful. They lost at Cleveland. Turns out they're a pretty good team. They lost by 2. They lost at Minnesota, previous the Kirk Cousins edition. They lost by 5. Not a bad L. Their worst L to the Bengals. But would you look at that? All of a sudden, Cincinnati's playing some decent football. Number 7, Miami. Honestly, it's taken me a lot not to rank them lower. They are 6-3. However, here's the problem. They have won 6 games, all of them against teams that are 500 or worse. They have lost 3 games, all of them to teams that are better than 500. Miami can't beat anybody that's good. They're still putting up a ton of points. They still have a great offense on paper. They just can't win. That's why they're at number 7. At number 6, a team that knocked off Josh Allen this weekend, the Cincinnati Bengals. How about the AFC North? There is not a team in that division worse than 5-3. In fact, 3 of those teams are 5-3. The Ravens are 7-2. The Bengals on a 4-game win streak. They lost 3 out of their opening 4, and everybody wrote them off. And all of a sudden, Joey B and the gang are starting to get it done, including wins over the Seahawks, Niners, Bills, and Cardinals. The Bengals are starting to play their best ball. At number 5, a team that I really want to like. I'm trying my best. They are 6-2, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not a bad 2. L's against the Seahawks and the Ravens. They finally got it right this weekend against the LV Raiders. Give me the Detroit Lions checking in at number 5, 1 spot ahead of them. Back to the AFC we go, and sitting also at 6-2 on top of their division. Sunshine. Trevor Lawrence and his Jacksonville Jaguars, the winners of 5 straight at this point over the Falcons, Bills, Colts, Saints, and aforementioned Steelers. The Jags look like a real football team, ladies and gentlemen. At number 3, also in the AFC, the 7-2 Kansas City Chiefs. That lost against Denver. Ugh, don't like that. They did right the ship by taking down the Miami Dolphins over in Germany and Deutschland this weekend, and that put them in the right direction. But they also needed some help from Tyreek and the gang to finish off Miami. No shame in being number 3, 1 spot behind the Baltimore Ravens at 7-2. The Ravens, 4 dubs in a row. The only 2 L's, Anthony Richardson and his Colts in a shocker. That's the one bad loss. Everybody's got one. And a loss on the road at Pittsburgh, a loss that I suspect they will avenge on January 7th when the Steelers come to Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, here's what I love about it. He's not having to be a superhero. He's not having to be a redonkulous quarterback. He's just playing well and getting carried along for the ride, and he can break it open when he needs to, and I love that. Baltimore at number 2, and of course, no shock at number 1, the only team that has a 1 in the L category, the Philadelphia Eagles. Their only loss is, again, everybody's got a bad one, on the road at the New York Jets. Outside of that, the Patriots, Vikings, Bucks, Commanders, Rams, Dolphins, Commanders, and Cowboys have all fallen at the hand of the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, they're not blowing you away. They're not killing it. They're not out there looking like a team full of all-stars. They just get it done. They just get it done over and over and over. So the top 10 teams in the league: Dallas, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Miami, Cincinnati. Top 5, Detroit, Jacksonville, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Philadelphia in that order. Now, number 1 in the power rankings for guys on the radio, it's Lonzo with Sports Flash.
Wow, I don't like compliments. I was just proving I don't like compliments. College basketball last night. Brad Brownell's Clemson squad started the season with a 78-56 win over Winthrop. PJ Hall had 20 in the effort. Across the state, Lamont Paris and his Gamecocks opened with an 82-53 win over South Carolina Upstate. 4 Gamecocks starters ended in double figures, and USC shot 55% from the three-point line. Let's go to Furman, shall we? They had a victory last night, 84-68 over North Greenville in their first game without Mike Bothwell and Jalen Slauson. Marcus Foster led all scorers with 18, while Cooper Bowser came off the bench for a 13 on 5 of 7 shooting. Tune in this Thursday at 7 p.m. for Thursday Night Football as the Carolina Panthers take on the Chicago Bears on your home for the NFL in the Upstate. Fan Upstate. Not Rob's fault. My mind did go blank, but I was thinking about a solution to the other problem that I got sent through text. And, some business should be handled after shows. Either that or I'm about to stroke out. I don't know. Good morning, JD. Will Rob make it back in the room on time? I don't know. There he is. There he is. Could hear him running down the hallway.
Yeah, I looked at the clock and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I saw it a couple times. I still need to listen to the audio, though.
Arnold Schwarzenegger just had a donkey in his office.
QC in the first break.
QC in the first break. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, friends. Great to have you. Happy Tuesday morning to you. We have got a lot more to cover over the final hour of the radio broadcast. If you would like to be a part of it, now's a wonderful opportunity for you to get in on the show. You can jump on the phone lines at 844-326-3663. You can text us on the carpros.com text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the radio broadcast. You can also tweet me or X me or post me or threads me or whatever you want to do at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, if you want to get it, the great one, or hit up everybody across all the social media at The Fan Upstate, at The Fan Upstate. So,
all right, you got to stop throwing threads in there. You got to stop. I mean, you just got to stop.
Stop trying to make fetch happen, Gretchen.
Because you ain't been on threads in like a month.
I haven't been on Threads. I got on Threads the day I joined it to make sure I claimed the handle.
I'm guessing nobody's been on. I don't know.
No, there's actually a lot of people on it.
How would you know if you haven't been on it?
Because
where did you see the news?
On Facebook. Because Facebook pushes the hell out of it.
I thought you were going to see the news on X.
No,
that would be funny.
My Facebook has like a whole section of like, here's what people are saying on Threads. And I'm like, if I wanted to know, I'd go to Threads.
My Facebook doesn't do that. But I don't have a Threads thing. So.
Texter just said off topic, but please, Tyler, please call Beamer. Yeah.
Gamecocks won last week. What do they need Tyler for?
You know what? Let's just ask it outright. Lonzo and I have butted heads on this on the Weenus and Pitt show. South Carolina fans. Now's your chance.
Did say butted heads. I mean, I was
good with it.
Okay, all right.
I was letting it roll. South Carolina fans, what are your feelings on that win over Jacksonville State? Sincerely, what are your feelings on that win? Are you like, yay, we did it?
Do we want the miserable people to comment or, everybody?
No, I don't want you to poison the well. I don't want you to taint the conversation.
That was almost like a Rob Brown poll.
South Carolina fans, what was your reaction to that win? Were you, as Shano said, dancing your butts off? Quote, end quote. Were you celebrating because, hey, every dub's a good dub? Were you like, glad we won, but that's not good enough? Yeehaw! What was your takeaway? What was your feeling on that win? Because Lonzo has repeatedly labeled me as miserable because I have said that my expectations were not met. And apparently, having expectations and those expectations not being met make me miserable.
And some texters and people on the stream are proof that misery loves company because you guys are agreeing with Rob, which means you're all miserable. Every one of yins yeah, they should be better. You're right. They should be. They absolutely should be. They're not. They should be. So would you rather have lost? I mean, because that's the opposite of what you're. Yeah, we looked really bad. Yeah, but you won. Do you want to lose?
I do not live in a world where every issue is polar and there are only two options. The world exists in shades of gray, not in black and white.
Except for today, because I've won today. Every corner, every bend that we've been around, I've won every argument, and it's tiring. It really is.
I'm sure you're exhausted.
Like to let you get a couple. So you go ahead.
I'm sure it's just ever so exhausting to be so good at this.
I don't know if it's the lighting, but your head seems to be turning red. It's just weird.
It's reflecting off the Kirk Cousins shirt.
It's a sweet shirt.
So I live in a world where shades of gray are the world. There is no black and white. There is no only right and only wrong. There is nuance in every reality that exists. And I think it is important to recognize that. I can live in a world where I am, yes, happy that my team won a game. I'm a Saints fan. This is the only world I'm allowed to live in. I can be happy that my team won a game and also disappointed with the performance within it for a variety of reasons. I can use the Saints here as a perfect example. The Saints beat the Bears this weekend. My expectations were to beat the Bears with a 5th-round draft pick rookie quarterback playing. I am happy the Saints beat the Bears. I was very worried I was going to find the bottle of the rum that I was drinking during that game on Sunday. On the flip side,
like you were already.
Kirkland Costco rum, bottles like that big. That'd have been a day.
Oh, okay. All right.
As a fan, I can be excited that the Saints beat I can be happy. Not excited. I can be happy that the Saints beat the Bears because that was my expectation. And I do not think it was an unjustified expectation, an unreasonable expectation. On the flip side, I can be frustrated that it took 5 turnovers for us to squeak out a 1-score win. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not going to get it. And the reason why is because if the only thing that you care about is one game, which is one of the most coach speak things you can say. Oh, it's one game at a time. We only care about the next game. No, you don't. No, you don't. Your paycheck relies on a lot of games, not a game. You don't sign it. If coaches only cared about the next game, they'd sign a week-to-week contract, not a 5, 6, 7, 10-year contract, right? You care about all of those games. Stop lying. As a fan, I don't only care about the game that the Saints played on Sunday. No, on Sunday, I was only invested in that game at that moment, but I care about my regular season record. I care about my ability to make the playoffs. I care about success in the playoffs. I care about winning a Super Bowl. At the college football level, I care about winning a division and then winning a conference and then winning a conference championship and then getting into the playoffs and then winning the playoffs. I care about those things. And those things are not determined on a Saturday. They are determined on a collection of Saturdays. And if my team stinks on a Saturday, then I want to know what is being done to improve by the next Saturday. Because here's the reality. Game to game to game, from here to the end of the season, it's going to get harder every week for a South Carolina team that has to win out to be bowl eligible. Had I told you at the beginning of the year South Carolina was going to be bowl eligible, you'd have gone, yeah, that checks out. You won 7 games last year. That checks out. Now, there are always, shades of gray, those outside circumstances that have to be taken into consideration. Variables. Injuries are not one, they are the one for South Carolina. They have made it very difficult to succeed. Very difficult to succeed. But at the same time, if I was going to tell you preseason, regardless of the variables, that South Carolina was going to need a last-second heroic pick 6 from Stone Blanton to put away JSU, by the way, if that pass is delayed by a half second and thrown 3 yards higher, touchdown Jacksonville State, we're maybe having a very difficult conversation today. Then you would have likely said, that's not good enough. Because this Saturday, this game, this one game is not the only game that matters. All the games matter. Especially when all the games have to be dubs for you to make it to a bowl game. The year after you upped the expectations by going 7-5 and knocking off a pair of top 15 teams en route to that being your reality. So, much like I, as a Saints fan, go, yes, I absolutely celebrated the Saints beating the Bears. My family and our little group text thread were having a great time. At the same time, I was also saying 5 turnovers and we won by a score. That's not good enough, Dennis Allen. That's not good enough. After 2 years at the helm, I expect you to be better than this. And before you go, oh, wait a minute, Rob, why do you get to say so?
Wait. Do you actually expect them to be better than that?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
With everything you said about Dennis Allen,
Yes.
you expect him to improve?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's very optimistic of you.
The reality of this team is that this roster is 12 wins good, and we're going to get, if we're lucky, 8, maybe 9.
Who's in first place right now?
We are.
Oh, okay.
In the most dumpster fire bull division in the NFL, maybe ever.
Somebody's got to win. Why not you?
Because winning at 8 and 9, relatively speaking, is trash.
So you would rather not lose. You'd rather just do booty cheeks, by the way. You would rather not lose.
Because this year, much like one Saturday or one Sunday, is not the most important thing in a season. The collection is. 1 year is not the only year that matters. My franchise for the rest of my life matters to me. And if we win a bull boat division at 8 and 9, what happens with Dennis Allen? They go, oh, you made the playoffs. Here's a 4-year extension. And now I got to put up with this crap for 4 more years while everybody else gets better. I hope. Arthur Smith's got me wondering about the Falcons. While everybody else, theoretically, gets better, my team will keep quagmiring ourselves with a BS head coach who is not good, right? Because 1 year isn't all that matters. Because I am an investor in my, like any business. Let's say you own stock in company X. I'm not going to use that letter because Lonzo will think I'm saying something subversive.
I'm trying to decide if I should duck or not, because you were very expressive with your hands and you're holding an object in your hands. And which is why I'm paying more attention looking your way while you're talking the entire time.
To throw.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't worried about you throwing it.
If you invest in company Z and you put a little money, a lot of money, all the money into it, and you invest in this company, and then one day that you find out that the CEO of that company has been putting all of that money into hookers and blow, you're probably going to be real mad, because you expect by investing in that company that the people at the top will be doing everything in their power to pass the expectations that you have as an investor. Football fans are investors in their football team. For a lot of us, it's with mucho dinero. I put more than a responsible amount of money into my football team every year. I buy new gear. Every now and then I buy tickets. I've seen my Saints play more in the last 3 years in person than I did in the 3 years that I lived in Florida before I moved here.
Are you closer now?
No, they play in Charlotte and Atlanta.
All right. Well, so technically you're closer to where they're playing.
Correct. I can see 2 games a year within a 2-hour drive. That's never been a reality. Granted, they're both away games, but I've never been able to do that before.
Well, at the Panthers game, it might as well be.
They lost the first one I went to last year. Huh? The point here is I invest in my team. And as an investment in my team, I respect a return on investment. Now, that is not to say I think we should win the Lombardi every year, but damn it, I should believe that we at least can. Right? I'm not saying that I expect to win a championship every year. That's what Dallas Cowboys fans do. But I'm saying I should like to be able to believe until at least late in the season that we got a shot. Right now, do you think the Saints have a shot at winning, the NFC? No. Philadelphia is going to beat us by 40.
So what you're saying is you'd like to be a Chiefs fan?
It would be a lot more fun. Yes.
It is.
Yes. Exactly. Right? So whether it's the Gamecocks or Clemson or the Saints or the Panthers or whatever, the reason that we do this, right? Because if you really sit down and think about it and go pen to paper and you think about it, me coming in here and talking about sports for 20 hours a week and making a living off of it is kind of dumb. But there's a reason. It's because it matters. Because while it may not be money, although for some of us it is, and probably more than we should responsibly do, all of us invest a chunk of our lives into our football programs. College, pro, amateur, whatever. We invest a chunk of our lives. And so we would like to think that there will be some reward. There will be some profit, emotional profit, primarily, actually exclusively, but some sort of profit back for that investment. So if I am a South Carolina fan who is investing, I don't know, $175 into a ticket to go watch my team play, or 3.5 hours, 12 times a year to watch my team play, or I don't know, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year into the booster club. And now, by the way, into the booster club and the NIL collective so that we can be competitive, I'd like to think that it is justifiable for me as an investor to have expectations of the program business that I am investing in. And when those expectations aren't met as an investor, I can be justifiably upset by that. So this is, to me, what happened on the field Saturday for South Carolina is a business going, well, I know you've invested all this money, but hey, our stock value is exactly the same. Like, all right, but that's not a return.
Yeah, but it's not. You got a victory. That is in the red, or the whichever one is a
the good one. It's
the
good one.
It's a good one.
I don't see it that way.
I don't know what real money is, so I don't know what red and black and
because to
all that
me,
stuff is.
the game played against Jacksonville State will get you beat by Vanderbilt. And I am worried about next Saturday. That Saturday's gone. I'm looking ahead. And the game that South Carolina played Saturday will get you beat by Vanderbilt. And that game will get you smoked by Kentucky. And that game will get you smoked if Clemson, who, by the way, why is everybody off beating up on Dabo right now? Because Clemson came out and they exceeded expectations on Saturday. If Clemson plays that game, they will lose one more game this season, and it's to UNC.
I disagree with you on one thing there. They didn't exceed expectations. Expectations before the season was that they would beat Notre Dame and do it handily, and they did not. They won by a touchdown. So they didn't exceed expectations.
Well, so for the record, I didn't think preseason they would handily beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame's good.
You were speaking on behalf of fans, not on behalf of yourself, though.
Right now, I'm speaking on behalf of Rob Brown, knower of ball.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Rob Brown, knower of ball, said preseason. Notre Dame, for the record, I thought Notre Dame Clemson would be the determining factor as to Clemson went to the ACC title game or not.
It was not, though.
Because also Rob Brown, knower of ball, spent how many weeks trying to tell everybody Florida State's going to be good this year, and I got laughed at for it.
You were right. I would say I'd never doubt you again, but that would be a lie.
You'll doubt me again before the end of this hour. The point here is Clemson, if only in season from the week before to last Saturday, exceeded when they lost to NC State. Not the season-long expectations.
Okay. So expectations had dropped so much that people were speculating on if they could even become bowl eligible. They come out and they win the game, so they should be happy. Whereas the same kind of expectations, whether South Carolina could be bowl eligible or not, were on them, and they won, but they shouldn't be happy. But the Clemson fans should be happy.
Do you not see a difference between Notre Dame and Jacksonville State University?
I see W's and L's.
I know you do. That's the problem. That you are putting Jacksonville State and Notre Dame into the same category of W's.
So when you look at someone's record, there's the good wins, and then there are the wins that were expected. That's like a separate column because I don't see that column.
12-0 in the SEC versus 12-0 in the MAC are very different.
So you didn't answer my question.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so
you don't like the answer.
So you're saying there's no difference.
I'm saying 12-0 in the
I heard there's no
SEC
difference.
is very different than 12-0 in the MAC. They are very different. 12-0 in the Pac-12 this year is very different than 12-0 in the ACC. That's why I've said if there's a conference getting 2 teams in, it's the Pac-12, not the ACC.
All I know is there will not be a 12-0 in the Pac-12 next year.
Good take. He knows ball. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
QC.
That's my bad.
This is called Touch of Gray. I don't know if you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you about our friends at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-surgical regenerative therapy for joint pain. If you are struggling with joint pain, right? You want to go ride your bike or play some golf or just go run around in the backyard with the kids, but you can't because you know your knee is going to be on fire or your hips are going to hurt for a week. Well, I want you to reach out to QC Kinetics by going to their website at qckinetics.com, qckinetix.com. And I want you to learn all about their regenerative therapy for joint pain. What that means is they can harness your body's own natural healing capabilities, and they can jumpstart them. When you're young, your body can replace the connective tissue inside your joints. And that keeps the bones from rubbing, and that keeps the joint pain away. But as you age, you lose that ability. QC Kinetics can get it started again for you. You get rid of the joint pain and the impact it has on your life without anesthesia, without surgery, without steroids, without physical therapy. You go in, you get the treatment, you're back to your day-to-day life without joint pain and without the impact it has on your life. Go to qckinetics.com, qckinetix.com, or give them a buzz right now at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Get rid of that joint pain and do it naturally without surgery with our friends at QC Kinetics. Headline, ESPN, Wolverine's channel Flair embrace villain role amidst criticism.
That's my cue to leave. Man. Record level people. I was going to the bathroom. Which means I got to hear the Casio louder. I don't. You know what? I don't have to listen to that. I can turn that down.
Mark Ryan, 3 to 7 p.m. today on the Fan Upstate 97.7 FM Greenville.
Apologies to anyone who might be listening on the radio too, because the levels are atrocious and tags are at 10 and the content's at 1. Let's face it, if I'm in trouble today, everybody's in trouble. I'm not really in trouble. I'm probably in trouble for not answering the text. But, you know. There are some things that take longer to cover than a text will allow, especially when you're like busy, I don't know, doing a radio show or something. And having, you know, stuff to do.
Stuff to do.
Yeah.
Who wants to do stuff?
I like stuff.
Yeah, it's day-to-day.
They just said stuff when I said stuff. It was amazing.
This commercial kills me.
Just makes me think of the Smingy brothers. But I'm the only one who would think of that. Just John Candy and I forget who was the other Smingy brother. I gotta look it up. But there's no way I can know how to spell Smingy. I'm gonna guess. Look at that. Wow. My guess was not bad. Eugene Levy. Eugene Levy.
Gus
Levy.
Polinski, the Polka King. Did you see that Jack Black Polka King movie? It's really good.
I don't think so.
It's really good.
That's awesome, Bubba.
Bubba, let's go. My man, good on you, big dog. Keep fighting the good fight, brother. Sincerely.
Oh, man. Someone got on the Ravenel Bridge, the pedestrian part, and drove their car on it. Which I've never seen the Ravenel Bridge until now. But, yeah, you should not do that. And there are people on the bridge running. That's in Charleston, by the way. Figure maybe you have been on the bridge because you've been to Charleston. I have not. Oh, I'd die if I had to go on that bridge. Heart attack. If you ain't up now, you retired.
All right. I thought.
Is that exasperation? Is that what that is?
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Uh-oh.
I am mending fences, as they say. Lonzo, I'm about to get you and I back on the set. You know what? I'm going to try. If it was any other program but Michigan, you would be all over this. Because it's a Wolverine, you are going to be conflicted. And I look forward to watching you try to rationalize your way through loving a guy, but also despising him because he's a Wolvie. There is a article up right now on ESPN that dropped either late last night or early this morning. I don't know. Headline, Michigan football players embrace villain. Wait, hang on. I got to switch to the sunglasses. We're going back to CSI Ann Arbor. Okay. Got the shades back on. Michigan football players embrace villain role amidst criticism. Article written by Tom Van Haren from ESPN. It begins like thus. Ric Flair strutted out of Schembechler Hall on Monday and into a private car. The former pro wrestling legend was at Michigan to see Jim Harbaugh, as the two have been friends since the Wolverines coach played with the Chicago Bears in the late 1980s. Flair was known as the villain in the wrestling world, and Harbaugh now finds himself in the Wolverines being described as the villains of the college football world amid allegations of sign stealing and in-person scouting that have triggered an NCAA investigation.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Despite what is being said outside the program, Michigan's players aren't shying away from the newfound target on their back and the criticism they're receiving. Wolverines offensive lineman Zach Zinter, which is a great offensive line name.
There's everything that has to do with Michigan today is alliteration. They all sound like they came from a Marvel book.
Zach Zinter is absolutely an
expert. And who was the AP guy from earlier?
Larry Lage.
Yeah, this is just a little odd, but go ahead.
Wolverines offensive lineman Zach Zinter said, quote, "I know there's a lot of noise going on the outside of the building. Haven't really paid too much attention to it, but I mean, if someone thinks we're the villain, I mean, I'm fine being the villain. You know, sometimes the villain wins and takes down the superhero. So if that's got to be the case, let's be the villain and let's take them down. I'm fine with being the villain if that's how the media and everyone else sees it outside the building," end quote. Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel said he won't be attending this week's College Football Playoff Selection Committee meeting so that he can handle, quote, important matters regarding the ongoing investigation, and said, quote, I look forward to being back in the room with my fellow committee members next week and every week through the end of the season. My added words implying that this is just going to be going away sometime sooner rather than later. It's not. Let's see here. We've got a couple of other quotes in here. Jalen Harrell said the team is focused on what's happening on the field. He said, quote, we don't really react to it too much. We just keep making the main thing. I think Harbaugh said it last week, a one-track mind. We just focus on one day at a time. Whatever we have in front of us, we handle. I guess it's an extra little chip. Whatever people got to say, and like I said, outside crowd noise, we don't pay attention to it. But our main focus right now is to prepare this week and get ready to battle Penn State, end quote.
Well, all the other players that quoted had a different take on that. So, I mean, I guess he's just speaking for himself.
Can we just go back to Zach Zinter, who said, sometimes the villain wins and takes down the superhero. So if that's got to be the case, let's be the villain and let's take him down. Woo! Woo! That's incredible. Let me tell you, I said this morning, for those of you that missed the first hour of the show, go to the website, thefanupstate.com, hit the podcast button, drop down the Rob Brown Show, listen back to the first hour because we went into CSI Ann Arbor very tough, very hard, very strongly in the first hour of the show. So, the other bit of news that dropped, there's really there's three bits of news, one contained inside of another, and then the other story. The big bit of news is that the Big Ten has officially put Michigan on notice that they may be subject to disciplinary action from the league, not the NCAA yet, but the league itself.
That slipped. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did. The second story is that, according to the Associated Press and Larry Lage, according to the AP, a former staff member of another Big Ten school said that multiple Big Ten schools had all been collecting signs.
Nope.
From Michigan and putting them together in a spreadsheet that have been spread around to the other members of the Big Ten.
I thought you were doing a magic trick. I was waiting for fire or something.
No, like you said earlier, I'm very exaggerative.
Yeah,
today.
but I thought maybe you were now a wizard.
I'm a wizard! So a former staff member of another Big Ten school told Larry Lage of the AP, according to Larry Lage of the AP.
But it's Lage.
Don't try to spice it up, dirt. That the other schools have been doing the same thing to Michigan and had collected their own spreadsheet and were sharing it around. And Lage said that he did indeed show him screenshots of text messages with other coaches within the Big Ten of, that. Which seems like a big deal. Because I thought last night going to bed, how freaking hilarious would it be if Ohio State was doing this too?
Damn, son, that is one compelling argument.
Then I woke up this morning and read the Larry Lage article and came to the realization that, my dudes, the funniest possible thing isn't that Ohio State is doing it. The funniest possible thing is if everybody in the Big Ten is doing it. Because everybody in the Big Ten has been lining up to go elbow drop off the turnbuckle on Jim Harbaugh. And what if they were all in on it too? It would be freaking hilarious, dude. Like, absolutely hysterical.
Nope.
If it went down that way. And then, of course, there's the third story, which is that while going through a spot where he's being labeled the bad guy in college football, Jim Harbaugh decided, who could probably help me out with handling the role of being the bad guy? Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! Now, if you're not a wrestling fan, the humor of this is lost upon you. If you are a wrestling fan, you have at some point cackled to yourself maniacally during this story. And why wouldn't you? The dirtiest player in the game got called up by Jimmy H to talk a little heel tactics. I love it. I love it. This story just went 0 to 160 with the addition of Ric Flair for no reason at all. Anyway, I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I am interested. I want this story. I don't want this story to wrap up, Lonzo, because I got to tell you, as a sports talk radio show host, it has just provided me with I honestly think this is my favorite story of 2023. In all of college football, I think this is my favorite story.
Tune in later this afternoon here. See, I tell you what's this Ohio State. See? That is not a prediction. That is a spoiler.
I don't know.
Got my blood pressure up when I did that. I should sudden movements. Should not do that. I'm about to pass out.
All right. I want your
I was
thoughts.
also trying to do it without spitting. You know, I
Thanks
even
for
turned
that.
my head that way. I
Thanks
don't know
for
if you
that.
saw that.
I did. Thanks for that. You're generous and compassionate.
Broadcast professional.
Yeah, of course. All right, let's take a break because I don't want to get yelled at. When we come back, a texter just made a really compelling argument, not to ping back and forth to Shane Beamer, but we got a couple of texts. I asked you guys, the South Carolina fans, hey, how do you feel about the win over J-ville State? We got a couple of answers, and I'm going to read those, but a texter made a real compelling point.
Tickets. Let's give away some tickets.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we need to give away tickets.
How would you, ladies and
Speaking
gentlemen,
of not getting in trouble,
like to not only come back and hear a very compelling listener point about Shane Beamer, but how would you also like to go see Furman play football this Saturday for free on us and Furman, of course? Well, you can do just that by, when we go to break, being caller number.
I mean, come on.
Come on. You already know. Caller number 4 right now to 844-326-3663 is getting a pair of tickets to go see Furman at home playing a little footy. Last home game of the year. It is senior night for the Dens. They are the number 2 team in the country in FCS. They are the only team in the country that has earned an FCS playoff auto bid. Caller number 4 going to see them play in person this Saturday, 844-326-3663 on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, we got to step away a minute so Lonzo can get some sensitive information. We will return briefly.
There comes stinking millennials.
Ruining everything. Damn TikTokers. Trey, if you've already won Furman tickets, you can't win more Furman tickets. Or do you mean like to a different game? I actually don't know. Is there like a 90-day?
I believe it's 30 days.
30?
But contest rules are subject to change. And I have not been made aware of a change, but yeah. You would have had to have been caller 4, which you were not. So that would have been a road we would have crossed when we got there. What would have happened would be I would fill out your information. The computer would say no, and then I would have to tell you sorry.
And that would be awkward.
Not really. Maybe I enjoy telling people no. Maybe it's what I've been heard my entire life, and maybe it's just opportunity to return things in kind. I don't like telling people no. I really don't. Do you have any interest at all in going to see the Marvels?
Yeah.
Because that comes out this week. I am curious, box office wise, what it's going to do. I plan on going. I'm just curious. But I'm going for Kamala because I think she's awesome. And I want to see what Monica Rambeau does.
So do I.
Because her character was awesome too. And will she say Ralph Boner at least once in the movie? Probably not, but you never know.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. So I asked you guys the question. I asked you South Carolina fans the question. How do you feel about the win Saturday against Jacksonville State University and the presser that was done by Shane Beamer at the end of the win, at the end of the game? And we got a few responses on the text line, 71307. We got a few more on the stream as well. Marcus said, the Gamecocks win last weekend is like winning $1 on a scratch off that cost you $1. It's nothing to celebrate. It's just like, cool, I get another shot. That is my favorite take so far.
Yeah, but at the same time, if it shows you are lucky enough to win. So, I mean, good for you. So you don't go, well, I'm not playing again. I only won $1. You're going to play again because you just won $1. And you're like, next time I'm going to win more.
I got another shot.
Yeah. I mean,
if you take the attitude, if you want to, and or do take the attitude of great, it lines us up to string a win streak together. 2's a streak. Cool.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to play better than that to do it. That's my
take. But see, that is equating Vanderbilt with Jacksonville State. So you're saying they're either equal or better than Jacksonville State. And I don't think you can do that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Listen, Jacksonville State, I told you last Friday.
I don't know ball, but I think that's a bad idea.
I told you last weekend that Jacksonville State is a very good, and I was wrong. I said FCS team. They're an FBS team. A very good FCS team. And you're not alone in that.
I'd be willing to bet money that Jacksonville State collectively as a team is bigger than Vanderbilt.
Bigger size-wise?
Yes.
I would point out that, all right, so we had another texter that texted in. Chuck writes in. Chuck said, I love listening, and I agree South Carolina has issues, but to insinuate that Vanderbilt is better than Jacksonville State is off. JSU's RPI is 63. Candy is 122. JSU was a decent win. Ugly, yes, but decent. Jacksonville State.
Thank you, Chuck, for not being miserable.
Jacksonville State has wins over UTEP, East Tennessee State,
Powerhouse,
East Michigan,
Powerhouse,
Sam Houston, Powerhouse, Middle Tennessee State, Western Kentucky, and FIU. They have L's to Coastal Carolina and Liberty by scores of 30-16 and 31-13.
The Beach and God School.
They're a good program. I'm not arguing that they aren't. But they're 7-3 in Conference USA.
What are Vanderbilt's victories over?
There's not many of them.
Okay, because I mean, if we're comparing,
no. See, here's the thing. I am not arguing that Vanderbilt is good. Quite the opposite. They have lost all the games in a row. All right, they've lost all the games in a row. They have 2 wins over Hawaii and Alabama A&M. They have lost to Wake Forest, UNLV, Kentucky, Mizzou, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, Auburn, and now they have South Carolina. So if you're keeping track at home,
losing team versus winning team
that
as
is,
far as Jacksonville State and Vanderbilt, if you're comparing the two.
Yes, if you are comparing the two, I'm not doing this again, but if the only thing that matters is the letter W, and you don't take into consideration who it's against, where they played, when they played, how they played, the competition level they played. Winning a boxing match against Jake Paul versus Tyson Fury are not the same thing. It's not the same win.
Probably about the same amount of money, though.
If I go out and beat up 14 8th graders, I don't get to then go, I am champion.
We at the Fan Upstate or this program do not condone
beating up 8th graders.
Beating up 8th graders. 9th graders, that's totally different.
Yeah, they're jerks, dude.
I mean, and they're in high school by then.
They're jerks. Like, they're awful. Anyway, point is quality. So then there was another text that I very much liked. Texter said, from the press conference with Beamer, it seems to me he is the one that is miserable. Takes a miserable person to call out fans that have not even had the chance to respond to the game outcome. And you know what? That's valid. I mean, technically, he was right. There were a lot of South Carolina fans that are like, I'm not celebrating an escape win against Jacksonville State.
I'm not miserable. You're miserable. So I mean, there.
He's not wrong. But at the same time, the texter has a point. That win was like 10 minutes old, and he was already denigrating the fan base.
Don't claim it. Just you mark that as an L in your column because it wasn't a good enough win for you, and that's okay. You go ahead and do that.
I mean, if you would like to be the high and mighty on this, you're welcome to.
No, I'm no arbiter. That position's already taken.
So let me be abundantly clear about this. Okay? Abundantly clear. I like Shane Beamer a lot. I like him a lot. I like him as a dude.
He used to be friend of the show. At least if he tuned in, he would know one of us is miserable, one of us is not. So at least maybe we got a halfway shot of getting him again.
I like Shane Beamer a lot. I like him as a person. I like the enthusiasm. Hell, if there's anybody who knows anything about getting opportunities and pushing forward because of an overwhelming amount of energy and enthusiasm, it's me. It's the only reason I'm here. I'm sorry to some of you. You're welcome to the rest. I like him as a person. I like him as a coach. I really do. All I am saying is I think this was a mistake. I think calling out the fan base for having expectations is a mistake. I think it's a mistake. And by the way, just so we're clear, he's not the only coach who's made this mistake. Dabo made the same mistake this year. This year. He made it 2 weeks ago. He made the same exact mistake. Mac Brown has made this mistake.
This is probably the last week I can play it unless it becomes relevant again. So,
Find out. They got Georgia Tech this weekend. Phil Moffa can't run the ball 36 times again.
Yeah, he could. He's had time to rest.
He will wear out. Dabo's made the mistake. Mac Brown has made the mistake. Urban Meyer has made the mistake. Bobby Bowden once made this mistake. Legends have made this mistake. The only coach that has done this and it's not a mistake for is Nick Saban, but that is because Bama. End of sentence. Right? A lot of coaches make this mistake. And it is a mistake to me that comes out of some level of frustration. It is a mistake. Oh, I like that. That's a thing. It is a mistake. I know. Hashtag TM. It's mine now. It's mine now. You can't have it. It is a mistake that a lot of coaches make. And it's easy to make because it's easy to make, or it happens when you realize that you're not where you need to be. Because being where you need to be, and here's the thing, And we've pointed this out. The way coaches keep getting paid 7 figures, 8 figures to do their job is by being where they need to be. And where they need to be is where the expectations of the school are. And the expectations at a place like South Carolina are different than they are at Wake Forest or Vanderbilt. When you're not meeting the expectations and people that are investing in you call you out for that, it is an easy mistake to make. Legends of the game have made the same mistake. I like Beamer. I am pulling for Beamer. I am a Shane Beamer fan unapologetically, but just because I'm a fan doesn't mean I have to just celebrate and endorse everything that is said or done.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
It's time to look at what is Xing, and Rob will tell us why it's Xing. Yo, the first thing that's Xing is Grok.
Grok?
You don't know about the Grok?
I don't know about the
This
Grok.
might actually make you like Elon Musk.
Fire away.
All right. It is the equivalent of Chat GPT or whatever that is, that chat thing, except for it's raunchy. So it will come back at you. Yes, exactly. So, and he's even put examples up of asking a question on the one and then asking it on Grok, Grok.
The internet was a mistake. However, if you don't think I'm immediately going on my own personal computer, not my work computer, to see this website, you don't know me at all.
Yeah, it's when I saw it, my first thought is, okay, to strike one up for Elon as far as Rob goes. I don't know the level of raunch or sarcasm. There's definitely sarcasm if you look at he put 2 answers up side by side earlier, like 20 minutes ago, where you could see the difference. And it looks interesting. It does.
Okay.
Learn
something new every day.
The next thing that's Xing is Randy Orton.
The legend killer. The I didn't want to say speculation. The hope has been for a while that at some point Randy Orton would come back, but I got to tell you, it has been nothing but speculation. I have not heard anything about it.
He's been seen at the Performance Center.
Good.
And the speculation is, all right, so War Games was announced last night.
No, say it right.
Okay. War Games. Pierce did it. It wasn't bad. You have to check it out. I can't. I'm just not that guy. So anyway, traditionally it's 5-on-5.
Yep.
It's 4-on-4. So the speculation is Randy Orton gets a call from his buddy Cody, and that Drew McIntyre ends up with Judgment Day.
I'm intrigued. I mean, he's absolutely going bad guys, Drew McIntyre. All right, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show at least half as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Y'all have a great rest of your
Rob's
day.
going to Grok.
I'm not going to lie. Oh, my thing's not on. Well, going to drink a lot of beer tonight, Jim. Budweiser. See you back here tomorrow to do it all over again on the Rob Brown Radio program and the Fan Upstate. Yeah!
Can only hold it for so long, dude. On this break. Wow, that is so low, too. What is going on? I don't know what you're talking about, James.
Oh, man.
Is that like when something goes around the earth?
Yes. We're in orbit around the sun. All right, dudes and dudettes, that's it for us. I got to go load a million audio clips now.
Let me go on like a blister in the sun.
Gotta love it.
Also, it's a mistake. It's a mistake.
Yeah, now I got to go figure out how I'm going to work mistake into the show more often. Y'all have a lovely day. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. Tell your friends about it. Share us around on social media. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.